Thank you for your patronage.
Thank you!
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Mentally Gone Reacts. My name is Callie Lacerda.
And I'm Gabriella Lopes.
And today we bring you Shutter Island.
Yes.
Which I think is the first, because I even wrote down the genre. I wrote down Martin Scorsese is the director. It was released in 2010, and it is the first thriller/mystery on the channel. Is it the first thriller that we've done on the channel? I believe so, right? Like, I don't think we've done anything towards horror, kind of. And I feel like thriller for me is like a step towards the horror genre.
Would American Psycho be considered a thriller?
That's a good point.
It's kind of like a psychological thriller thingy.
Yeah, I think it even borders on like horror.
Yeah, it's the goriness of it.
Okay, so either way, like we don't do as many kind of horror/thriller, and with the Harry Potter films, people have been pointing out that they really enjoy your reactions to anything remotely kind of scary because you definitely don't go overboard with your screams and your yelling in my ear. I have a perforated eardrum.
Sorry.
Thanks to someone here. I'm just kidding. Tinnitus. Yeah, just constant ringing in my ear. But yeah, so we will be venturing deeper and deeper as we go into some of the horror recommendations. A lot of you guys have been commenting a bunch of movies and films. And this is the first Martin Scorsese film on the channel. It's our first kind of like introduction to that director. Like, we've done Christopher Nolan. A few Christopher Nolan, right? We did the Dark Knight trilogy. We did...
and a Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, and we also did Quentin Tarantino. And now it's Martin Scorsese. So... this one's called Shutter Island, and you wanted to point out something you could go and say.
Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Which is from, I think a lot of people can say is one of their favorite movies, which is Titanic, which somebody hasn't given a chance to.
It's not that I haven't given a chance, it's just that Titanic for me growing up was always like a thing where I just kind of deliberately, for no reason, I just kind of went against it. Like, I just went against the idea of even like remotely entertaining the idea of like watching it, because of the fact that first it was like a core, like at the time I was a kid, obviously, or teenage years too. Like, I always viewed it as like a corny thing. It's like romance movies are always corny. And then a 3 hour and something, right? Like, it's like almost 4 hours long.
It's from before I was born, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and it's like a massive film, and it's all romance. And so now as an adult or adult, what do you guys prefer to say? An adult. I am an adult. I always cringe out a little bit when I hear as an adult. I want to experience it and I want to try it out.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that with this channel and just taking advantage of the channel and the fact that we're here sitting, watching movies, dissecting them. And then who knows, like maybe my mind gets rearranged or whatever because of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see him in this because this obviously he's not like 18 or however old he was in Titanic.
Yeah.
Because he looks super young. So I'm excited to see this. I don't know anything about this at all. Other than you just told me that it's a psychological thriller.
From 2010.
So
2010, where was I in 2010? 2010, I think I was moving. I moved to Brazil, I think 2008. It always gets like fuzzy in my memory, but I think it was 2008 to 2010. Between that range is when I made the big move that changed my life. You know, like I went back to Brazil, went to high school there, finished grade school, went to high school and whatever.
I was way too young.
Yeah.
Like for most of these movies, even Titanic, like that one was just one that I think the first time I ever watched it, it was like playing on like the TV, like on like a regular cable TV.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a rerun or whatever of it, like, you know. And then I just started watching it and I was like, huh. And then after that, I watched it a couple more times and it became one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, which we will cover.
Yeah.
You know, on the channel. But yeah, so with this one, we're just going to jump in. We are going to be taking our usual notes. I have titled Shutter Island. I have a few more pages left in this little notepad, which again, look, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. So I've been keeping all of the notes from all the movies, and I've been collecting them like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, kind of. It's like if you guys want to trade.
And I upgraded from my little flippy pad, and I got a book now.
Which I also have a book, but I use those more for like
diary
meditation. Not a diary, like a journal. I think diary is kind of
No, I meant that's like the girl word for journal.
Yeah, I just like to carry it around because I've been doing this exercise recently where I've been trying to like leave my phone at bay a little bit and then replacing it with this type of book right here because it's small and it fits in your pocket. And so then if I'm like out and about or if we're walking our dog's shadow, I'll like take it out real quick and like jot down something. I've been drawing in it too, like drawing things that I see. And it's been fun. It's been interesting. But anyways, that's a very long intro.
And I'm also drinking coffee, which I never drink coffee. And by the way, these are like we are not sponsored by Starbucks. By the way, I don't subscribe to Starbucks. This is homemade coffee in a knockoff Starbucks cup. And if you're interested in buying these, you could find them on your local Amazon. so that you don't subscribe to buying Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
And then you make it at home, and then you can pretend like you have a Starbucks coffee, but it's not.
Yeah, we got this cup because we've gone through like a plethora of like different branded cups on Amazon, and the lids just open wide open, like as you're about to sip. And I've had multiple accidents where I just got super pissed off. And then we finally stumbled across this one, which by the reviews were like exactly like the Starbucks brand. And then I was like, all right, let's get it.
Yeah, and now here we are.
Oh, yes.
Now they're going to spike the prices. So
yes. Stock goes up now. Mentally gone. Revives Starbucks. Whole business model. Yeah, we're just kidding, obviously.
No,
it's
these
just
are
a
not
cup.
these are not sold by Starbucks.
All right, ready then?
Yes.
All right, so with that being said, special thank you to all the patrons, everybody on Patreon who has been subscribing, who has been supporting us throughout this whole journey. We recently did Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban. We are continuing the momentum, and this time we're trying to increase momentum and increase frequency. And yeah, we're just excited to continue it. So thank you to everybody on Patreon. If you want to experience these films in their full length, duration, uncut, and you want early access as well, then you can find it all on Patreon. And soon we will be doing like exclusive content for Patreon, exclusive TV series very soon, and starting up that whole process. So yeah, thank you everyone. And then you do need your own original copy for you to sync with our reaction, and then we can all watch it together and experience the films together. And sorry if I'm a little rusty. I just get really nervous before every reaction video. And it's because I have, I've already explained, I have like a stage fright kind of. Ooh.
Don't get nervous.
That's how I give kisses. I just.
Yeah, that actually is.
All right, so ready. So synchronizing with the people at Patreon, countdown from 5, and then I'll press play, and then you can synchronize with your own original copy at home, and we will begin the reaction. The music's already kind of unsettling. Boston Harbor Islands. 1954, it said? Mm-hmm. I'm already taking notes. 1954. Boston.
Wow. Comment
below if you have a Boston accent. If you have a Boston.
If you drink coffee.
Are you drinking coffee with your Boston accent? Oh, yeah. Oh, he drank too much coffee right there.
Yourself together, Teddy.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever gotten seasick?
No. Got on airplane sick.
Really?
Yeah, when the landing turbulence, because I never eat on the plane, so I guess that kind of contributes.
Like an empty stomach.
Yeah. He's always on a boat, huh? Hopefully this one doesn't,
Yeah.
You're my new partner. That's right. Not the best way to meet with my head halfway down the toilet. How long you been with the Marshals?
Marshals.
So you know how small it is? Sure. What about you? You got a girl? Married? I was.
Okay, we got a flashback.
She died.
Oh, shoot.
All I know is it's a mental hospital for the criminally insane.
Wow, look at that. Woo, the sound is crazy.
So really is an island, huh?
Yeah. A lot of water, too. So,
I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry up about it.
Why?
Storm's coming.
okay. So it's a psychiatric hospital, he says?
Yeah, a mental institution. What are they like? What did they say? Oh,
Deputy Marshal.
Welcome to Shutter Island. I'll be the one taking you up to Ashecliffe.
Oh my gosh. Hey, watch where you point that thing.
I know, right?
The boys seem a little on edge, Mr. McPherson.
Right now, Marshal, we all are.
The sound is crazy.
Remember us, for we too have lived, loved, and laughed. Cemetery.
Electrified perimeter. What can you tell? Seen something like it before.
It's pretty loud.
I know, I'm feeling the anxiety.
Yeah, this music's crazy.
Ah!
It's like building up to something.
I know, like who are we meeting here?
I know.
You gentlemen will be accorded all the help we can give. But during your stay, you will obey protocol.
The volume
Is
up.
that understood? The red brick building on your right is Ward A, the male ward. Ward B, the female ward, is the one on your left. Ward C is that building on the bluffs. The most dangerous patients are housed there. Is that understood?
You act like insanity is catching.
You are hereby required to surrender your firearms.
We are duly appointed federal marshals. We are required to carry our firearms with us at all times.
Executive Order 319 of the Federal Code of Penitentiary states that when inside a penitentiary, the officers of that institution have final authority.
Oh, it's the whole like jurisdiction thing.
Gentlemen, you will not get through this gate with your firearms.
I mean, technically they shouldn't go in with guns into a mental institution.
Yeah, because what if an inmate just grabs it, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. What do you say we go find Dr. Cawley?
Cawley. If you take out the W, it's Cali.
Yeah.
Spelled with W in the middle.
Yeah.
When did she escape? This prison.
I'm afraid
Escaped?
it's the only facility of its kind in the U.S., even the world.
Oh my god, it's Smeagol. It's Gollum. It's Gollum's mother. We found her.
Stop.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's gonna haunt me tonight.
Oh my god.
Great. Oh my god, look at her neck. I just
Oh
realized
my
her neck.
gosh.
Marshal Daniels?
Doctor.
Marshal Aule.
Marshal Aule.
McPherson's a good man. He believes in the work we do here.
What would that be exactly?
A moral fusion between law and order and clinical care.
Pardon me, Doc. A what between what and what?
Ooh, I've seen that painting before.
Used to be the kind of patients we deal with here were shackled and left in their own filth. They were beaten, as if whipping them bloody would drive the psychosis out. We drove screws into their brains. We submerged them in icy water until they lost consciousness, or
That's crazy.
we provide them with a measure of comfort in their lives, calm.
They've hurt people. Murdered them in some cases.
In almost all cases, yes.
Wow.
I'd have to say screw their sense of calm.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel Solando escaped sometime in the last 24 hours.
She considered dangerous?
You could say that. She killed all three of her children.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel Solando.
She took them out one by one, held their heads under till they died. Then she brought them back inside and arranged them round the kitchen table. She ate a meal there before a neighbor dropped by.
Oh my god, with the dead corpses.
She insisted the children weren't dead.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Doctor. You don't happen to have an aspirin, do you?
Rachel? Sue believes the children are alive. And she believes we're all delivery men, milkmen, postal workers. She's created an elaborate fictional structure, and she gives us all parts to play in that.
Oh my gosh.
So Warden and his men scoured the island. Not a trace. What's more disturbing is we don't know how she got out of her room.
It's like Andy Dufresne.
Oh, but this lady's...
Yeah, but she's guilty. And I saw a statue bust of Socrates.
Back for a midnight round, she was gone.
Let's see, any posters on the wall?
How is it possible that the truth never gets through to her? I mean, she's in a mental institution, right?
Sanity's not a choice. You can't just choose to get over it.
Ooh, that's a deep bar. Oh, very perceptive. Oh. For
It's not a psychiatric term.
I'm afraid not.
Who is 67? If I know.
I have to say, that's quite close to my clinical conclusion.
Fine.
This paper could be important.
We're gonna have to hold on to this. Doctor, we're gonna need access to the personnel files of all the medical staff, the nurses, the guards, the orderlies, anyone who was working there.
We'll take your request under consideration.
This is not a request, Doctor. This is a federal facility and a dangerous prisoner.
Patient.
We're gonna need to speak with the staff. Do you understand?
I'll assemble them in the common room after dinner.
There's already so much going on.
It threw us right into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no build-up, which I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, like, I prefer movies like this.
She'd have drowned, have been crushed on the rocks, and her body would have washed back up on shore.
Yeah, didn't they say the only way on and off is the docks?
Mm-hmm.
The base of those cliffs are covered in the poison ivy.
Oh my gosh.
1,000 plants with thorns as big as my dick.
How big is that? What the heck? We don't know if it's just
As
big.
big as my dick.
Yeah.
This big, I swear. I swear. This is big.
What a crazy guy.
The biggest dick in Boston. This big.
I'm calling this off for tonight. Let's go, boys!
I feel like I'm him. Like, I'm like writing the...
Who else does she have to pass to get down here?
Me, sir. I didn't see nothing.
And you were at your post all night?
Yeah, but I didn't see a thing.
This guy kind of looks like Eminem.
Yeah, this guy looks guilty. Is what he does look like him.
I maybe went to the bathroom.
What? You breached protocol. Christ.
I wasn't gone more than a minute.
Well, there you go. Just takes 1 minute.
She was in a group therapy session.
Anything unusual occur?
Usual isn't a big part of our day.
That's a fair point.
Everybody's laughing.
That was more, I don't know, memorable than...
Normal?
Exactly.
No. Sorry.
Was there a doctor present?
Yes, Dr. Sheehan led the discussion.
Sheehan.
Dr. Sheehan?
That's where she likes to occasionally browse.
The psychiatrist who directly oversees her care.
Dr. Sheehan.
He left on the ferry this morning. His vacation was already planned. He'd been putting it off too long.
You're in a state of lockdown. A dangerous patient has escaped.
You're gonna do as I say.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a doctor.
What is this, a comedy?
Look at, they think that they're freaking joking around.
I'm sorry, sir, but it's all down, all the lines, so I'm sitting the mainland like a hammer.
If you get it working, come find me immediately. The marshals need to make an important call.
The storm. So there's a storm coming.
I'm afraid I have evening rounds in the wards, but I'll be having drinks and a cigar at my house.
We can talk then, right?
We have been talking, Marshal.
What is going on here?
I'm getting so, like, weirded out by the vibes of, like, everybody's kind of weird. Does that make sense? Like, everybody's weird.
I can't tell if they're in on it or what they're doing or...
Yeah.
Nice music. Who is that, Brahms?
No.
Is this what I think it is? 50s? War?
Isn't it common for men in your profession to imbibe? You must be quite adept at interrogations.
Look.
Yeah.
See? It's a freaking Holocaust. I knew it. I had a feeling.
Men like you are my specialty. Men of violence. I'm not accusing you of being violent men. That's quite different.
I think I understood what he meant.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, there's like so much going on.
Yeah, I feel like I'm spinning, just like this camera. Wow. It's the Holocaust. He probably wants to end his suffering. Mercy.
Wow. Make them suffer.
Do you believe in God, Marshal?
You ever seen a death camp doctor? Sehr gut, fast, perfekt.
You're a German?
Is legal immigration a crime?
Wow.
Oh, shoot.
Wow, he
We're
spotted
gonna need
his-
those files on Sheehan and the rest of the staff as well.
Oh my gosh.
Out of the question.
Bullshit out of the question! Bullshit! We're gonna file our reports and we're gonna hand it over to him.
Hoover's boys.
Hoover's boys, that's right.
Why are they making it so difficult
Yeah,
for
it's
them to
like
do their job? I don't get that.
I don't either.
Isn't it in everybody's best interest to catch Rachel, her name is?
Yeah.
Rachel Solando?
Maybe Paulie's sitting up in his mansion right now, rethinking his whole attitude.
You're bluffing?
I didn't say that.
Isn't the place called Bluff Rocks or something that they said at the beginning?
Oh, yeah, behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Killed a lot of people in the war.
PTSD, shell shock.
Are you real?
What?
No,
Oh, because he's dreaming.
she's still here.
Rachel.
She never left.
So this is his wife. Oh my god, look at her back. Oh my god, what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Oh my, is that ashes all around them? Like debris?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks that way.
Oh my gosh.
Bones in a box.
You have to wake up.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. Wow.
But she is. So is he.
So is he.
Ladies, I have to go.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, I got full body chills with that. Look how crazy. Look at that. Wow. Ooh, that scared me a little bit. Oh my goodness. That's insanity. Literally insanity.
Rachel Solando was on a combination of drugs meant to keep her from becoming violent. The greatest obstacle to her recovery was her refusal to face what she had done.
Is there a reason you keep referring to your patient in the past tense, Doctor?
Look outside, Marshal. Why do you think?
Oh, he's assuming she's dead.
So they're looking for her dead body, right?
Yeah,
At this
so
point?
that's why they don't really care. They're like, she's probably dead anyways.
Yeah.
You could see it in her eyes. She liked to be naked, to suck.
What the heck?
What? And then she asked me if she can have a glass of water alone in the kitchen. It was obvious. She wanted me to pull out my thing so that she could laugh at it. When I cut her, she screamed.
We're here to talk about Rachel Solando.
You know that she drowned her own kids? This is a sick fucking world we live in, I'll tell you that. You know what? They should be gassed. All of them. The retards, the killers, the nick.
Oh. What the heck?
Could you stop that?
That nurse?
Please stop that. Could you stop that? Stop that!
Oh, that's actually getting me to like.
Do you know a patient named Andrew Latus? Do you? No! I want to go back. Come on. I got him.
He said what? Andrew Latus?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the wife said, right? In the
Yeah.
vision?
Mm-hmm.
He's there too, latest.
Miss Kearns.
Mrs.
Kearns. You seem quite normal.
The difference is most people don't kill their husbands with an axe.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No one will help you. Axing him isn't the least understandable thing you could do. Could I have a glass of water, please?
No problem.
What the heck?
Oh. But the other guy's watching. The other guy saw it. Did they see it? Like, right? There's a guy staring at them the whole time. Multiple people staring.
Yeah, that's weird.
She didn't drink from a cup, you saw?
Yeah, I did see. What the heck? Maybe that's like an editing flaw.
My brain is hurting. I don't know.
No. Never heard of it.
Oh my gosh, what the heck's going on?
She was coached. She used practically the same words as Callie and the nurse, like she'd been told exactly.
What did she write? I'm gonna freak out if I don't know.
I know.
I requested it specifically, you understand? What? Andrew Latus. He was a maintenance man in the apartment building where my wife and I lived.
Oh, shoot.
He was also a firebug. Andrew Latus lit the match that caused the fire that killed my wife.
Oh.
Oh, so he has like a personal
Vendetta.
Yeah, and that's why the wife said he and he automatically knew who he was.
Yeah. And there was fire in the apartment too.
Vanished like he never existed. Oh, he could be dead. So could Rachel Solando, for that matter.
Oh, shoot.
Has a valid point. Valid point. So Andrew Lattis is an arsonist.
When she sent me for water, she said something to you back there, didn't she? No. Come on, boss. She wrote it.
What is it?
Run.
Run.
Wow.
Run.
We gotta get it, dog. Turn into fucking Kansas out here.
Kansas.
Watch out!
Careful. Oh my God. What kind of storm is this? A hurricane?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. Look at the things flying.
Oh my gosh. Wait, where did they go into?
It's like a cemetery. It's like a, you know those things
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
put bodies in? Yeah.
Oh God. Don't like this.
Doesn't that kind of look like an eye?
Yeah, I don't like this.
I mean, at least they're safe from the storm.
Well, they're not safe if the lady told him to run.
What are you gonna do about it?
You gonna kill him?
I'm not here to kill Lattis.
Oh, you just answered my question. Okay, thank you.
Oh, is this snowing?
Yeah.
If it was my wife, I'd kill him twice.
Oh, I see what's going on.
It's like a flashback.
When we got through the gates at dark, Al, the SS guards surrendered.
Look at that.
That's sad.
The commandant tried to kill himself before we got there, but he botched it.
Oh, that's what it was.
Took him an hour to die.
Wow, an hour in agony. Look. Woo. Man.
When I went outside, I saw all the bodies on the ground. Too many to count.
I can't imagine that visual, like, in reality.
Look at that. It's all frozen.
Gosh.
Oh my God. Wow.
The guards surrendered. We took their guns. We lined them up.
Oof. Wow.
Damn. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't warfare. It was murder.
Massacre.
That I've had enough of killing.
Wow, that's an interesting statement right there.
So what are you really here to do, Ted?
I'm gonna get the proof. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna blow the lid off this place. That's it.
Wait a minute. We started asking around about Ashecliffe.
Ashecliffe.
Chance to get out here, and then suddenly they need a U.S. Marshal.
I got lucky. There was a patient escape. It was the perfect excuse.
No, boss. Luck doesn't work that way.
A chief of staff with ties to the OSS, funding from UAC. I mean, Jesus Christ. Everything about this place stinks of government ops. What if they wanted you here?
What?
Bullshit. We came in for Rachel Solano. Where's one shred of evidence she even existed?
There's no way they could have known I'd be assigned to this case. There's no way.
Well, you were looking into them, they were looking into you.
Oh my gosh.
To get you here, now they have you. Now they have us both. Here, now.
Oh my God. Oh my God, the timing.
That's why the lady told him to run.
How about that? They found us, huh? It's an island, boss. They're always gonna find us.
They wanted him there.
Because it's an ambush.
Get off this goddamn island, you and me. Come on.
Now it's an escape movie.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a prison escape now.
That's why they're so nonchalant about Rachel. She
Yeah.
probably doesn't even exist. And they can't even get their facts right about her.
Yeah.
They're all rehearsing a story.
You said you had no idea what that second line could refer to, correct?
Yes, I'm afraid I still don't.
Nothing comes to mind. There are 24 patients in Ward C.
Oh, that's what it is.
A total of what, 66 patients at this facility?
That is correct, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it seems to me Rachel Solando is suggesting that you have a 67th patient, Doctor.
Didn't McPherson tell you the good news? Rachel's been found.
I'm getting weird vibes from everyone. I don't know what's going on. Like, isn't the whole point that they came to... All of a sudden she's found.
And they didn't even think to reach them and tell them, or like tell them as soon as they walked in? Like,
There's not a mark on her. Yeah, during a violent storm.
Police officers, Rachel, they have a few questions.
Oh yeah, she thinks she's at like a resort or her normal house.
You could tell us what you did yesterday, where you were. Would really help us narrow down our search.
I made breakfast for Jim and the children.
oh gosh.
And then I packed Jim's lunch and he left.
I have a feeling he's gonna lose it in like 1 second.
I decided to take a long swim in the lake.
Excuse me, sit back down, ma'am.
Personal space, please.
I thought of you.
What?
Don't you know how lonely I've been, Jim?
I mean, what do they expect, right? Like, she thinks she's somewhere else.
I cry every night. How am I supposed to survive?
I think he might be feeling an ounce of sympathy, huh?
Look at that.
Yeah, wow.
It'll be all right. Everything's gonna be all right, okay?
I buried you. My Jim's dead, so who the are you? Who the are you? Who are you? No! Get
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's Marcus Aurelius, I think.
We found her down by the lighthouse. We've no idea how she got out, but I'm gonna have to ask.
They said they checked the lighthouse.
So goddamn bright, isn't it?
Photosensitivity, headache sometimes. Marshal, are you having a migraine?
And what happened to his head? Did they ever say what happened to his head?
He arrived with it, right?
Yeah.
A couple of hours, you'll be as clear as a bell.
What's wrong with them?
He's having a migraine. Imagine someone sawed open your head, filled it with razors, and shook it as hard as they could.
That's...
He's going to need to lie down.
What the heck?
Careful.
I can't even take notes too much because I'm just confused. Like, I don't know what to write.
I know. I'm just literally writing what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, he's the warden?
Don't you worry about him, all right?
It looks like an ex-military prick, huh?
Look how white. He's wearing the tie that his wife put on him.
I wrote that down.
You did?
Yes. Hey, you're jumping to the jumping to the note.
Again with the woman. Oh my god.
Gosh. Ooh. I mean, I could see how this place is triggering like PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the soundtrack. The sound design.
You should have saved me.
What?
You should have saved all of us.
He probably has guilt from the Holocaust. Look at that. It's bleeding out.
Yeah.
It's like pouring out.
His fault.
It's transbording, I think is the word. But it's guilt. It's like war, you know? Like, I can't even imagine. I've never been to war. Oh, that's the guy. That's Andrew.
What?
Yeah, because he said that he had a big scar.
Oh shoot.
Latest,
yeah.
Two different colored eyes, right?
I think he's blind in one, right? It's like a white eye.
No hard feelings, right? No hard feelings.
Oh my gosh.
Well, something for later, because I know how much you need it.
Oh gosh.
The clock's ticking, my friend. We're running out of time.
What the heck?
Oh my god, look.
Wait, what the heck?
I'm so confused.
Where's his friend?
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at the smoke on his cigarette. It's like going back. My whole body just chills all through. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I'm dead. Why didn't you save me?
I tried.
Oh my gosh, I just
Look.
think I pieced something.
See? Aren't they beautiful?
What?
Oh my god.
Because I think that there's a parallel, right? Between, he said that 4 people died from the fire. And one of them was his wife.
Oh, in the beginning.
Yeah, and 3 children were killed.
Look,
so
look.
there's like some weird parallel.
It's the lady with the fire. Oh, that's what he said.
Ladis isn't dead.
What?
He isn't gone. He's still here.
Oh, this is his wife.
You need to find him, Teddy. You need to find him and you kill him dead.
Is Leda 67 and they're hiding him?
How much of this is like real and how much of it is not real?
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like his friend, his partner was there and then he wasn't there and then...
And his wife died, he said. He said that he was married. Oh, okay, yeah. See.
So it's like he was dreaming.
Backup generators failed. Whole place has gone crazy.
Oh, this is what they were talking about. If it fails, then the inmates
Are free.
free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, look.
Oh my
This is
gosh.
so crazy.
And I'm sure they don't have like enough nurses, right?
Yeah. Or tasers. Zzz. Oh my god, the jump scares are crazy.
If you see one, don't try to restrain him yourselves. He'll kill you. Clear? All right, get your asses moving then. Go on.
They just let them like, oh, you could possibly die, but go on, go on along.
Oh my gosh. I would be terrified. Look, he's like twitching too. He's like
Yeah.
getting the shivers.
No power. I feel like there's a jump scare.
He's here. Latest. You can feel him.
Oh my god!
Oh god, they freaking abandoned each other.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I can't.
Oh man, no warning.
I think that's how it's supposed to work.
I know, and I don't like it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Your scream is scary.
Oh, how the turntables turn. Oh my god, look.
He's gonna kill him.
We hear things here about the outside world.
Oof, oof.
What if he kills him? Ooh.
No, not you, not you. Take a walk. Come on. Polly's gonna have my goddamn balls for this.
Not you, and then leave him alone to just wander around. Come burn your finger, come burn your finger. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't want to see this. Not for children.
Ladies?
That's pretty damn funny.
Let me see your face.
They say he'll never leave here.
Oh my gosh.
I was incidental. A way in.
Oh, that's George Noyce.
In with my partner. You never worked with him before, have you?
Oof.
Then they've already won.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I'm only here because of you!
That's why they don't let anyone go to the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you my heart was breaking, and you asked me why.
She's with your head.
And I told you it was from happiness.
She's gonna kill you. She's gonna kill you.
You have to let her go! I can't! I can't!
What's going on? What the hell is going on?
Never leave this island.
I have an insane theory.
Dolores?
Oh gosh, this is...
Dolores. Yeah.
Only one place he can be.
Ward B? No. That's for the females.
Lighthouse.
What happened to you?
What do you mean?
Yeah, he just disappeared.
After we got that guy to the infirmary, I took a little detour. The patient records.
No, I never found him.
I got the next best thing. Ashecliffe's that way.
Not going to
Oh
Ashecliffe.
my gosh.
I'm going to that lighthouse. I'm gonna find out what the fuck is happening on this island.
I think I know. Like, I think I have like a theory, but I'm gonna save it for the end.
Yeah, me too. Oh gosh.
But I'm gonna say like this style of film is something I've never experienced before.
This is crazy.
Like what? Like what? How am I acting?
What the hell happened back there in those...
Oh gosh, this is so great. I can't stop writing things down.
I can't write.
I think the weather's like in Portland, Chuck.
I'm from Seattle.
Because I have too many ideas floating in my head.
I mean, there's obviously a way to reach it because they said the guards checked it, right?
Yeah. It has to be like a boat or something, right? Like a small rowboat.
Something.
Take long, but I couldn't get to it. The tide was up.
Oh, he's gone. His partner.
He told
What's
him
his
to-
partner's name?
Chuck.
Chuck?
Yeah.
I have to write it down. I didn't
Chuck!
write it down. Oh, there we go.
His partner's name?
Chuck!
Chuck.
Oh no, don't tell me he tried to go after him. Ah, a cigarette. Oh no. Oh look, the form. Oh no, it's gonna blow with the wind.
Come on.
Get it, get it, get it, get it.
Oh, shoot.
What's it say? What's it say?
Where's my pen? Oh. Oh my god. Ah.
Look, a rat in a maze.
Right. Good catch. Look at that. It's overflowing. Oh my
What?
god.
How are there so many?
Damn.
Ah.
No rats were harmed in the making of this movie. We hope.
Cruelty free right here.
Yeah.
Taking your hand from behind your back, please.
Why? Why?
I want to make sure that what you're holding won't hurt me.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, it will hurt you.
Why did he drop his?
Rachel Solando.
What? No shit, that.
Real one.
Oh my god. They got a fake Rachel.
People tell the world you're crazy. And all your protests to the contrary just confirm what they're saying.
Defense mechanisms.
You're smarter than you look, Marshal. That's probably not a good thing.
That's what the doctor said, defense mechanisms. He said it twice.
I started asking about these large shipments of sodium amytal and opium-based hallucinogens.
Psychotropic drugs.
I asked about the surgeries, too.
Wait a second.
They zap the patient with electroshock, then go through the eye with an ice pick.
Transorbital lobotomy.
It has nothing to do with the flesh. The brain controls pain. The brain controls fear.
Oh my god.
Everything.
Wow. That's deep.
What if you could control it?
Ooh, that's so deep.
Oh my gosh.
A man who can't be interrogated because he has no memories to confess.
What?
They're creating ghosts to go out in the world and do things sane men never would.
To have that kind of ability, that kind of knowledge, that would take years.
Years of research.
What?
I am a federal marshal. They can't stop me.
There was an esteemed psychiatrist.
That's insane.
Any past traumas in your life? Because they're gonna point to some event in your past and say it's the reason you lost your sanity.
Wow.
Any funny dreams lately? Trouble sleeping?
I am prone to migraines, yes.
Jesus, you haven't taken any pills, have you?
Oh.
Oh my god.
You ate the food in the cafeteria and drank the coffee they gave you. You tell me at least that you've been smoking your own cigarettes.
Oh my god. He smoked the other cigarettes. Oh my god.
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
48 hours for neuroleptic narcotics to reach workable levels in the bloodstream. Palsy comes first.
Cerebral palsy.
Tell me what goes on in that lighthouse.
Brain surgery.
Wow.
That's where they create the ghost.
I knew about the lighthouse.
They think I'm dead, that I drown. I'm afraid if they come looking for you, they might find me. I'm sorry, but you have to go.
That means she's been eating rats, right?
Yeah, probably.
Technically.
But I could come get you off this island.
Haven't you heard a word I've said? The only way off the island is a ferry, and they control it.
Hmm.
You'll never leave here.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Something really fishy is going on here. And I have so much to write because I'm just like needing to get all the details down so I could connect it all.
I can't even write because I have to keep an eye on everything. Oh, that's the...
Have a seat.
What's his name?
Come on.
Not the dean.
The deputy?
Warden.
No, warden.
The constraints of society were lifted, and I was all that stood between you and a meal. You would crack my skull with a rock and eat my meaty parts.
He does have a point.
If I was to sink my teeth into your eye right now, would you be able to stop me before I blinded you?
Give it a try.
That's the spirit.
He's checking if he has like violence in him still.
Hmm.
And that was just proving his point. Like, I'd like to see you give it a try. So it's kind of inviting violence.
Yeah.
You guys should see my notes. Like, it's all like just words, scribbled. It's like I'm trying to not to freaking take my eyes off.
It says doors must be locked at all times, and they're not, so...
This noise, you said his name was, he's delusional.
Oh, extremely. It can be quite upsetting. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, a patient got so wound up by one of Noyce's stories that he beat him up.
Oh. No thanks, I quit.
So you're taking the ferry?
Yes, absolutely, I am.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have a partner, Marshal. You came here alone.
What?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I have so many theories.
My head is like spinning.
Oh.
It's been spinning from the moment the first scene of him throwing up. It's like confusion from the first scene. Oh, it's the German doctor.
Moment, I'll find you someone who can take you to the dock. Precaution.
Oh, precaution.
Oh my gosh.
You must stop it.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you guys could tell how confused I am because I'm barely speaking. Like, I'm not talking at all.
I can't tell if... Oh, it's so hard to explain.
Are the keys in the car?
Can't lose anyone else.
Please don't do this. Don't go.
I'm sorry, honey.
He's so fixated on the lighthouse.
There's one ugly tie.
It is pretty ugly. Oh, shoot.
So he's going to set a distraction. Run, 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 run.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, he's going to run back. Oh. That is a good distraction, though, because they're going to find the tie and they're going to have to wait to see if there's a body inside of the car. You know, and then maybe they're going to think that he killed himself or something. Like, that's my thought process. And then it's a long enough distraction where they have to wait and put out the fires, check to see if there's a body.
I'm like on a whole different assumption here.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of any of it. I'm trying to wait until there's like a wrap up. Look, look, look. I see a person at the lighthouse. You saw? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but...
Yeah, it's just the guards.
What I'm thinking is so insane. Should I say it?
Sure. Like, if you want to say, like, say whatever's on your mind. I don't know.
I just don't know if it's like too, if it doesn't make any sense or if it's. Oh my god!
Stay where you are!
This whole movie doesn't make sense.
Wait, are you gonna kill me?
Nelson.
No, I'm not gonna kill you.
And it seems like it's the same gun that he used to use as a soldier.
Yeah. Oof.
So now he's armed.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out like this connection with the kids and the fire that killed his wife.
It's an empty lighthouse.
Oh god. But they could have cleared it out, right?
But then what was the guard guarding? If it's empty, then what are you guarding? Oh, look, it's his palsy. It's behind the door. It's behind the door.
Why are you all wet, baby?
What?
For God's sake, dry off. You'll catch cold. How badly did you hurt the guard?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have Dr. Sheehan take a look at your man before you send him up.
So?
Dr. Sheehan?
Get out of here, Teddy. This place is gonna be the end of you.
Oh, they told him to run.
Chloropromazine what?
Chlorpromazine. The same thing we've been giving you for the past 24 months.
24 months.
I had a feeling.
Bring me drugs in Boston. Is that it?
Not Boston.
Oh my gosh, I had a feeling.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh my gosh.
You've been
here
for 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know the kind of people that I deal with every day? I'm a U.S. Marshal, for God's sake.
U.S. Marshal.
Blown the lid off this place.
Where?
Somehow you couldn't find time to look at it. Well, read it now.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Oh, if I find out what I thought this...
Your wife's maiden name was Chanal, am I correct?
Don't you even talk about her.
I'm afraid I have to. Notice anything?
Oh my god.
It's your rule of 4. Andrew, what do you see?
If you've done anything to my partner, Doctor, that is a violation of...
Focus, Andrew. What do you see?
Yeah.
He called him Andrew?
Daniel says exactly the same 13 letters as Andrew Ladies. The same as Rachel Solando and Dolores Chanal. The names are anagrams for each other.
Oh my god.
Then they're not going to work on
You came here for the truth. Here it is. Your name is Andrew Ladies.
Oh my god.
I was...
One you can't forgive yourself for, so you invented another self.
Wow, dissociation.
Let's
Teddy, Edward, oh my god.
But you're violent, trained, dangerous. You're the most dangerous patient we have.
Oh my
Wow.
Orderlies, guards, other patients. 2 weeks ago, you attacked George Noyce.
No, I am fucking on to you, Doctor.
He attacked George.
This is about you and ladies. That's all it's ever been about.
Oh my god.
When you asked him what happened to his face, he said, and I hear I'm quoting again, you did this.
No.
Oh my god.
That's what I was writing down.
Permanent measures will be taken to ensure you can't hurt anyone ever again.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
the lobotomy.
I understand just fine.
And the wife's memory will be erased forever, which is...
You're going to tell the U.S. Marshal's office that he's a defense mechanism?
Oh my god.
You working for him?
I'm sorry, there wasn't any other way. Someone had to stick with you, keep you safe.
It's like his handler.
Wow.
Don't you recognize me, Andrew? I've been your primary psychiatrist for the last 2 years. I'm Lester Sheehan.
Sheehan.
Oh my god.
Dr. Sheehan. Because Dr. Sheehan's on vacation.
Conveniently.
And Rachel's personal psychiatrist.
My initials are on the side. There's a dent in the barrel from when Philip Stack shot at me. You're not gonna fuck with my mind on this one, Doctor.
Then blast away, because that's the only way you're ever getting off this island.
What? Oh my gosh.
His meds. It's probably been 48 hours.
Oh my god.
It's probably empty. It's the gun that he came in here with, right? Yeah, it's fake.
Ignored what everyone told you. You moved to that lake house after she purposely set your city apartment on
Oh
fire.
my god.
Andrew, your children.
Simon.
I knew
Henry.
it.
We never had any children. Your wife drowned them at the cabin by the lake.
Oh my God, I knew it.
So sorry, baby.
Wow.
I'm back.
Alcoholic.
Dolores.
With colorful ties.
Hmm.
A lot of booze.
Oh my gosh, is this right after she
Yeah, she's all
drowned
wet.
her kids?
Where are the kids?
They're in school.
It's Saturday, honey. School's not in on Saturday.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man, this movie is
My
wild.
school is.
My school is. Look at this. She's the crazy one.
That's so sad. Oh my gosh.
Look at that. Wow. Ooh.
Oh my God.
And then he could have saved them if it wasn't for the alcoholism.
Oh gosh.
That's the whole guilt. I think. I don't know.
Oh my God.
No. No.
It's a hard to watch movie.
Let's put them at the table, Andrew. We'll dry them off. We'll change their clothes.
And they're gonna have a meal with the corpses.
Set me free.
She wants him to kill her.
I love you so much. I love you like.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
And then he sets the house on fire.
No, she set the house on fire. So she set the apartment and then they moved to the lake.
Oh.
And then she drowned the kids.
Rachel.
Look, she was a nurse.
Rachel Latus.
Rachel Latus.
My daughter.
Oh, I see.
Who's Teddy Daniels?
He doesn't exist.
Wow, he's finally.
Neither does Rachel Solano. I made them up.
Why?
Wow.
Pulling the wires just for fun.
And that he killed her.
I killed them because I didn't get her help. I killed them.
Brilliant. This movie's brilliant.
I hope that what we've done here will be enough to stop it from ever happening again, but I need to know you've accepted reality.
He tried to help me when no one else would.
Wow. And that's what he said in the beginning, that he wants to do it differently.
Yeah.
And take care of the patients.
The latest.
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy. Literally. That's why that creepy looking lady did this. You know? Because all of them are supposed to play along. Because it's the biggest theater play in the history of psychiatry, the doctor said. They gave him a regular cigarette because even the doctor's smoking it.
What's our next move?
You tell me.
Gotta get off this rock, Chuck. Get back to the mainland. Whatever the hell's going on here, it's bad.
Oh, he regressed already. Oh my God. It's like a loop. Oh my God.
He's gonna get lobotomized. That's
It failed.
That's really sad. Wow. Oh, that's really, really, really sad.
Don't worry about it. They're not gonna catch us.
Oh, come on. Why?
That's right, we're too smart for him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
I had a bad feeling. I was like, if he calls him Chuck, I swear to God. I swear. Oh, that's it.
Which would be worse? To live as a monster? Or to die as a good man?
Teddy?
Ooh.
He called him Teddy.
Yeah. See, because that's what I'm saying. Like he's aware, but I'll talk about it at the end. Like, it's my theory.
I see.
Yeah. He chose to die as a good man, even if the good man isn't real, you know?
Wow.
And that's why he, like, played along, because he would rather die than live with the understanding that he's a murderer and that he lost his 3 kids. The lighthouse.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that was. I literally have notes for days. That was the craziest movie.
I almost just started doing this because it's a crazy roller coaster ride. I was like,
I didn't even finish
left
my
turn.
coffee because my heart was palpitating.
You gotta drink your coffee.
No, my coffee.
You gotta drink your coffee.
My coffee.
Slowly fade out the music.
Oh gosh. Oh, I have to take a breath.
I have to pee before we get into our
Oh,
long
go ahead.
discussions. Hold on, let me just. All right. Okay. So let's go through the. This movie, I got 1.5 pages, which is not normal for me, because usually I like to kind of like piece things together as we go. But in this one, I just didn't have. It's like hard to explain, but I didn't really have like a solid road. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really have a North Star, I guess. And so that's why I was more paying attention to the movie, and I fear that now I won't be able to really remember everything, because there were points where I thought to myself, like, maybe I should write this down. Like, maybe I should write this dialogue down and then try to like quickly just jot it down, but then I just couldn't do it. Bo, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Just had to like reread all this because it's so much going on. But go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, so here's a crazy thought experiment, right? Because crazy is in line with the themes of this movie. What if you watching this right now, what if you're experiencing what Andrew Latis is experiencing?
I thought that.
And then how can you disprove it?
Yeah.
Because everything that Rachel told him in the cave, right? Which I don't know if that's a real Rachel. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I still don't know. But whatever the real Rachel told him is that that's exactly what they do. Is that they'll convince you that you're crazy, and if you kind of go against that, then they'll have all these clinical terms and these like scientific names that will essentially prove their point and
Further
then prove you
proof,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah. So how can you prove this and how can you disprove it? Is there a way? Comment below. I'm genuinely curious to know what you guys think and what your take is. Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it kind of started freaking me out a little bit, because then I started thinking like not on a crazy, like, oh, like, am I real or whatever? But then that's what philosophy is all about. It's about existentialism, right? It's not all about existentialism, but that's one of the main pillars of philosophy. It's like, how do you prove that anything is real, much less yourself, if you're biased towards your own experience? And then how do you know?
Oh my gosh, it's an existential crisis.
This is an existential crisis in a film form.
And what this makes me think of, which I thought of after all of this and after the back and forth of like what was happening and what wasn't happening and him dreaming, it's like I immediately thought of my favorite poem by Edgar Allan Poe that we always talk about, which is A Dream Within a Dream.
Yeah.
Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I can recite that poem word for word because it's like, it's always stuck with me. But that, like, that is so crazy. Because even what she said, right? It's like, insane people come from a traumatic experience, right? And can't we all say that on a subjective level, we've all experienced something traumatic? Like, it could be relative to each individual person. So something like, even if it was something small that happened to you, small in comparison to like something else, but to you, it was something traumatic, right? So it's all subjective. Then that could just drive you to insanity, right? And then you could just be imagining or creating these narratives that are just narratives.
Just fictional
It's-
narratives.
Yeah, I can't put that into words better,
no.
but I don't know if that makes sense.
But I get exactly what you're saying because like what really stuck with me was what the bald doctor said. He said that sanity is not a choice.
Yeah.
And that we have this like misinterpretation that sanity is a choice. It's like, oh, like why are you acting so insane? Like why don't you just act sane for once in your life? It's like sanity not being a choice. That stuck with me, and I wrote it somewhere, I'm sure. But sanity not being a choice, and then I forget who gave this other speech about monsters and said that wounded people usually become monsters or something like that, and that Teddy was very wounded, right? And so he's a monster. And then when you get the chance to stop a monster, wouldn't you stop a monster? And like that's I think what the dialogue was.
Yeah.
And then Rachel Solando.
Yeah.
Rachel Solando, she told the real Rachel in the cave, she said that pain doesn't enter the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And that completely just sent me down a loop. Like the whole, like from that point on, from when he met Rachel in the cave, probably much before, but especially that meeting, because of the cave aspect, you know, if you look at, for example, one of the earliest paintings in the history of humanity is in France. Right, it's called the Venus cave paintings or something like that, and people usually associate those paintings with like primitive beings, right? Primitive human beings. And then if you read, I think his name is Yasari, book called Sapiens. If you've read it, you've read it. Essentially, we used to believe that there was this kind of Darwin evolutionary kind of scale where it goes from ape to more progressive and more advanced and more sophisticated until we arrive at human beings, at Homo sapiens. But the truth, apparently, because who knows what the truth is that there's a new hypothesis now that there were multiple species of homos living at the same time.
Yeah.
And my whole point is like, what was my point? Hold on. Oh, caves, right? The fact that he uncovered the truth through a cave is akin to just how symbolic caves are. Like if you go to Plato's allegory of the cave, in the beginning when they arrive at the bald doctor's office, there were multiple busts, like multiple statues of philosophers, which is funny, right? Which is ironic because that's one of my favorite subjects to like dive into. And I saw Marcus Aurelius and I saw Socrates, and Socrates was the teacher of Plato. And then Plato's cave is where he uncovers the truth, and even the shot, like the perfect, like chef's kiss, like this whole movie is perfect. Maybe nothing's perfect, but whatever, like that's a whole other debate.
No,
but
yeah.
Perfect to me, like it's brilliantly made. Even the freaking, oh my God, like I'm like going all over the place because like that's how I feel this movie is. Even the abrupt cuts where there's no continuity. Do you understand? It's like there was a moment where, for example, when he found his daughter dead in his memory, he took off her shoe and he started massaging her feet. And then it cut to another shot from the back where you can kind of tell that both of her legs were kind of extended. And so her feet wasn't in his hands anymore.
Yeah.
And so the whole idea of like continuity is completely miscued. Like there is no continuity because everything is being told from his perspective. And then it kind of reminds me of like high school, grade school literature teachers who would give you a certain novel and then say that it's told from the protagonist's standpoint and that you can't trust the author.
Yeah, it's an unreliable narrator.
Yes, unreliable narrator. So you don't know it's true.
I think there's a book like that, like The Things They Carried or something is one where it's an unreliable narrator. But anyways, side note.
He's definitely one, right? So I love how abrupt those cuts were. And then back to the cave thing, like when he was having a conversation with like Rachel, it was over an open flame, like a campfire.
Yeah.
And then you would see glimpses of the flame still in the frame of the shot. And then going along with the whole idea that movies are like motion pictures, right? They're like paintings that are moving.
Yeah.
You get one of those frames and it's brilliant. It's like that's where he really like starts putting things together. So it starts to connect for him, I think, then.
Yeah.
On a subconscious
level. Yep.
But then it requires someone else, like a third party, to kind of abruptly expose and like crack it open for him.
But she was not real. So even
But was she real or
she
not?
wasn't real. They told him.
But-
she was like, he said Rachel is in a cave. And that's why they said Rachel Solando is an anagram for Dolores Channel.
So that
Rachel
lady's
is not real. No, Rachel is a projection of his own delusion. It's a hallucination. She was telling him everything that he already knew, like from the last time that they told him everything.
She was the only one where I was kind of still questioning because of the fact that she wasn't the same Rachel that they showed in the file and that actually like interacted with him at first and then said like, who the fuck are you? And so she's an older lady, which I thought maybe she's like a forgotten patient on the island, and maybe that's something that they're keeping hidden. Like, I don't know. But then the whole idea of having this kind of exposure, having this moment of not exposure, this moment. What do you guys call? What do you call when there's transparency, when disclosure?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this crescendo and then this giant moment of disclosure. I want to believe, and this is where it's tricky, I want to believe that everything that was disclosed was real.
Yeah, no, it is real.
All of it.
It is real, except that she's not a real person. She's just a figment of his imagination. I do think that. I do think they hired a Rachel actor who played his wife. She was the girl that drowned the kids, that ate at the table, that whatever. She was supposed to be his wife without him knowing that that's the story of his wife.
To see if anything kind of triggers in his head. Okay,
so then they got like a Rachel, whatever.
Okay. That Rachel is a nurse because then when he wakes up, she's there.
Yes.
As a nurse. But I'm saying the old lady.
And then the old lady is probably, well, I don't know. In my head.
Who is she? Where'd she come from? There's no closure.
They told him that she is not real. So he was probably hallucinating it.
Okay, but then wait then. So
because they said there's no way anyone could survive on that island, like going through the rocks or whatever. So I don't know. Like I really
that part. Comment below.
I do think
because we have to look. This is the YouTube video where I'm gonna just spend hours in the comment section because I want to talk to you. Like I want to hear. Is the caveman Rachel real? I need to know. I need answers.
I think she's a figment of his imagination, and that she was just revealing the truths to him, but it was literally just himself revealing the truths to himself. Because again, Rachel Solando does not exist. That name doesn't exist. And then that's why she says, I don't have any kids and I don't have any children. So then I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but then my only concern is this, right? Because the whole movie...
Or I don't have a husband, she said even.
The whole movie wraps up with everybody kind of taking off their Scooby-Doo mask and saying like, actually, I've been the doctor the whole time. Actually, I've been the nurse the whole time. And then I was waiting for that lady in the cave to show up as a correctional officer, as a nurse, as his mother. Like, who is she is my point.
But can I tell you this? Look, this is the way I thought it. And maybe it'll make sense. He was hallucinating his wife, yes?
Yeah, but she's real.
I know. And he was hallucinating his daughter, yes?
Yes.
And he was hallucinating this latest character that he created in his head that has a scar across the face.
That's where you got me, okay.
And then look, the parallel of this latest character for him is Rachel, for his wife. He created this woman, and that woman in the cave that he met, right?
Yeah.
She says, I don't have kids or a husband. So she's supposed to be the opposite of his wife, kind of. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
She's supposed to be the good person that his wife wasn't. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? The woman that didn't even have kids. So there was no way that she would ever kill her kids. The woman that didn't have a husband. So there was no way that he would have killed his wife. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, again, it's a coping mechanism, which is what
so
they were talking about. It's like, even she is just a figment of his. And then... Oh, God. Okay, we'll get to it, but go on, because I have, like, so much to say about this.
My God. Like, I don't This one might be too much for my head. I'm gonna tell you right now, because look, my gift and curse, or whatever you want to view it as, because it's both for me at times, is that I'm an overthinker, right? So if you give me a movie that has no straight path, every path is kind of halfway done, every path is kind of undone, it's twists and turns, leads off a cliff. Literally, there's a path that led off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like you think, and okay. One thing that I do want to say that's interesting, right? Or should I go in order? I'm trying to think, like, because
No,
again, like,
go
if
off.
you're gonna review a movie that's sporadic in nature,
Your review is going to be sporadic too, yeah.
what do you guys think? Like, give me a live,
No, go.
real time answer. Somehow, like, they have to invent technology where people can kind of like tune in to the well, it's called live streaming. but
Yeah,
whatever.
maybe we could do like we would have to be live streaming this.
Anyways,
That would be interesting.
all right, so I'm gonna just read off of this list, because I'm telling you, like, this the notes that I took for this film, it's very sporadic and a lot of it doesn't even make sense. It was me literally jotting real quick, like I can see here: ashes, fire, water, and then leaving
Excuse
it
me.
to my future self, which is me now. So thank you to my past self, which was watching the movie, which didn't elaborate, because now I have to kind of fish for elaborate ideas that I was thinking in the moment. Whatever. Okay. The name of the hospital is called Ashecliffe. Ash. Ashes.
Yeah.
The apartment. And a cliff, where he finds the answer. Off a cliff. In a cave.
Yeah, Ashecliffe.
I'm going to say this right off the bat from my interpretation of the film, is that none of this is real.
That's what I started thinking too.
No, like none of it.
None of it is real.
It's
Not
all-
even that
the
he's
island-
a patient.
The
yeah.
island is fake. Everything is just a figment of his own imagination. And he literally created it, just like the doctors were telling him that Rachel had done.
Yeah.
Right? Rachel had imagined that she was still at her home and that
Yeah.
everybody was a mailman,
And a
everybody
delivery
was a
man,
milkman. We are basically having insight into this man's psychology, and we're accessing his psyche. This is a movie about the psychological turmoil and the inner storm that takes place to a man who has gone through so much trauma in his life. And this is, at the very end, I said, Book of Job, ? Because he loses everything. He lost his wife. He lost his career, his like sense of purpose, which was
Wow.
being a marshal, which was being a soldier, which was being a war hero, right? So think about that. Like, you're a war hero. Start there. You are a war, and I might have to reset the camera soon, but it's okay. You are a war hero, right? And then what you actually did was just murder people like cattle, like animals. Like, he murdered people like animals. He murdered them. He denied his enemy mercy, which
Yeah.
we've been watching Harry Potter, right? And just a quick random Harry Potter throw in. Harry forgave Peter Pettigrew, right? Who basically gave up his parents for slaughter.
Yeah.
And so Teddy denied his enemy mercy, slaughtered them like animals, and then comes home and people view him as an American hero. And he has to live with that false reality, which is already a false reality, which is why this movie is brilliant to me. It's a false reality from the start, because he's living a lie. He's not a war hero. He's a murderer. He murdered people cold-blooded, like unarmed, murdered. And then debate could be started. Well, they murdered all those, but those people were soldiers following commands from a higher up, right? So then you get into these like intricacies of war and the complexities of war, and you either put on a soldier suit or you're gonna get killed by the government, and you're gonna be deemed a traitor, and you're gonna whatever. But then so he comes home as a war hero, and then he knows that it's a lie. And he's not going to live that lie. And so he finds a coping mechanism, which is drinking. And then his wife, probably depressed because she's lonely. She has to raise 3 kids alone. She feels abandoned. And then for long stretches of time, her husband's at war. Instability. There's no stable line in her life at all. And then he gets home and he ignores her. Ignores the whole family, ignores his own reality by just escapisms all the way. And then he sees clear signs that his wife is demented. Like the depression has evolved into psychosis, into paranoia, into schizophrenia. She says she has a bug in her brain that like talks to her and told her that it's going to pull strings for fun. It's like, if you hear your spouse saying that, it's time for you to kind of direct them to someone who can help them. You know, it's like, that's the ultimate form of love. And so he's been selfish from the start. He's a selfish man from the very beginning, in my opinion. Ever since the war, like he selfishly just does whatever and he's selfish because he didn't help her and didn't save his family because he feared losing her. And that's a form of, I don't know, like I don't think that's love. Because if you're, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like,
I do understand.
Where do you draw the line of like fear of losing someone equating to love, and then loving someone so much that you let them go? I feel like that's the whole predicament.
Which is why she would tell him in the hallucinations, like, you have to let me go.
She told him to free her.
Yeah.
She said, please free me or something. So like her killing the kids is an act of like begging.
I think this might not make any sense, but I think that something that I started kind of thinking is that it's also like for him, let's see if I could make sense of this. He has been hallucinating his wife, right? And hallucinating her without knowing that she killed the kids and that he killed her.
Yeah.
So he thinks that she died in the fire in these hallucinations, and that someone else lit the match, and that she died, and that she burned in ashes, right?
Yeah.
I think that this is all a defense mechanism, like they kept using and like they kept saying, because he was unable to forgive himself and he was unable to forgive her.
Right.
And so the whole thing is that the lack of forgiveness is what... how do I make sense of this? Maybe go back to what you were saying, because then I could like piece it together again. You were saying...
about him living a lie, and then... Right? About him living a lie and then him dissociating, and fear of losing someone.
Fear of losing her.
Versus
right.
loving someone so much that you keep them.
Listen, so then look, the hallucinations of her were telling him, you have to free me, let me go.
Yes, yeah.
If he had just learned to forgive her and forgive himself, that's all he needed to do. Forgive himself for what he had done to her, and for his like failure of as a husband and a father, because he didn't help his wife when she needed it. If he forgave himself, but then also forgave her for what she did, which is murdering their children, then he would be freeing not only her from his mind, right? These hallucinations, right? That are haunting him, tormenting him, eating at him, like eating him alive. But he would also be freeing himself.
Right.
But he has a very big problem with forgiveness. And that is what we keep seeing. It's like, that's why they showed that Nazi soldier on the ground and showed that I do not show mercy.
Yeah.
I don't know forgiveness. That's literally what him shooting all those Nazis. I think, well, I'm not going to say it's the whole premise, but I do think it's a significant part. It's that the inability to forgive will just create a nightmare of an existence and reality for yourself. You know, so it's like this thing of like, of letting go, of freeing. And so like that's what the wife was pleading for him to do in these hallucinations.
Yeah.
And what the daughter is pleading for him to do for himself in a way, when she says like, why didn't you save me? Or, you know, you could have saved me. It's like, it's supposed to be a little trigger of like reminding him that, okay, you failed and you didn't save her, but it's okay. You know, it's
Yeah.
like self-forgiveness is very important too.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
I don't know.
It does make sense. I'm trying to make it all make sense.
But
in
I
my
think
head.
that's why he holds on to all, like,
Yeah.
why he holds on to this, like, this whole thing that he created, why he continues to create this whole narrative all over again, because it's been harder for him to forgive himself and
Yeah.
forgive his wife than to just accept reality. You
Mhm.
know, it's been harder for him to do that it's been harder for him to forgive than to just make this whole figment of, you know, of like fiction, you know?
Speaking of forgiving himself and then trying to like finally face reality, usually in like occult symbolism, lighthouses are viewed as like beacons. Sorry, are viewed as beacons of the conscious mind, of like beacons towards enlightenment, if that makes sense. It's like a call towards enlightenment. That's what lighthouses symbolize, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just found it interesting how the lighthouse in this one, I think about like halfway through the film, or maybe ever since the very beginning, when he starts to suspect that this is like a government psyop, you know, like this is all a government experiment, Nazis are involved, and it's all a big conspiracy theory, which is fitting, you know, because it does kind of make sense. Everything he says does make sense. So like that's the danger of it, is that a lot of ideas kind of fit too perfectly. And multiple ideas fit perfectly. And so people usually go about this existence thinking, oh, there's only one perfect piece for this puzzle. But then reality is there are a bunch of pieces that could fit perfectly right there and that could do the job and nobody would notice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it just is, you know, like, oh, just look over it. But then my point is, the lighthouse is supposed to represent enlightenment. It's supposed to.
It's where the truth is revealed.
It's where the truth is revealed. But his initial quest towards the lighthouse was an ego-centered, kind of like an egotistic idea of enlightenment, right? He was going to uncover the truth and uncover the labs that they're doing lobotomy on, and how they're, you know, like it's all a cover up, and he's going to find it. He's going to get there. He's going to see it. He's going to get proof, and he's going to take it back to the mainland, and he's going to kind of just pop everything open and just get everybody exposed. And so his idea of enlightenment is a false one.
Yeah.
So it's an ego-centered one, egocentric one. I don't know. And so, but then what actually happens is that he gets there and he's kind of like, true enlightenment is thrusted upon him. And I feel like there's some philosopher who says that, is that wisdom is thrusted upon you.
Yes.
True wisdom is thrusted upon you. And so it's when you're not looking is when you find it.
Right.
Or when you stop searching for something, it's where that something finds you.
Yeah, which is like that quote that I feel like you've said before, that 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I don't feel like I've heard that from you before.
It sounds very true.
But
I don't know if I said that, but okay.
But that for example, you can't deny the reappearance of the sun and the moon every night, and you can't deny the appearance of the truth. So the truth is always bound to reveal itself. So 3 things that cannot long be hidden.
Yeah, everything eventually comes to light.
And so he gets right. So then it's not something that how do I explain it? Like, it's not something that you can try to uncover yourself on your own terms or whatever. It's just something that, you know, comes as it needs to. Just like we can't control when the sun and the moon come up, or we also can't conceal the sun and the moon, then it's the same applies for truth.
And then it's a whole conversation of free will versus preordained destiny.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's a century-long conversation, you know, like that's been a debate since the dawn of time. And then like how much of it is out of our control and how much of it is within our control, and then that's a whole conversation. It's like how much can you control? Like, can you control your own ability to find the truth, or does the truth decide the time and place where it's going to reveal itself to you? And I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
I think it's the latter. The
But
more I
then
think
that's
about
what
it.
we see happen to him. It's like
Yeah.
he thought that it was gonna be this, like this specific way that he kind of, you know, whatever mapped out. But then it just turns out that it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's an enlightenment. It's like it's the real kind of rawness
Yeah.
truth. You know what I mean?
I just thought of a quote, which I'm gonna say right now. I think it makes sense to me, and I just thought of it like I've never thought about this quote before, and maybe it makes sense. But a man with a plan is but a man. Does that make sense to you?
A man with a plan is but a man.
It's pretty deep to me because like, and I'm not just saying that because I'm saying, I don't know. Like this is my personal experience. It's my review. I'm not gonna worry about coming off ego like, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no,
because
what?
no, because I have imposter syndrome, and I usually like don't know how I come off to people, and then I try to like come off, like not come off a certain way, because then people say like, oh, he's cocky or he's whatever. Just being like very open and just very clear about it. But I think, in my opinion, it makes sense, and it's pretty deep, because a man with a plan is just a man. Which confirms what we just said, that the truth reveals itself to us, and we're not in control. And so you can charter out a whole plan, a whole itinerary, which is what he did. Like, I'm going to go to the lighthouse, and we got to go there, and we got to find a plan inside of Ward C, which they go inside of Ward C, and that was one of his plans. And they uncover part of the truth, but they don't find what he kind of thought that he needed, which was to find Andrew, which is himself, which is funny. But then he does find himself through the man that he beat. So he beat up someone who accidentally gave him the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, go. You gotta say anything?
Well, no, I'm gonna get to it after.
Sure?
Yeah. Because it's like about the whole Andrew latest thing, and I have to dive into that because it's the.
I feel like I'm all over the place, and I feel
me
like
too.
I'm going crazy. Like, is that normal? Like, after, like, did you guys feel that after watching this? Like, what? I genuinely mean this. Like, let's start a whole conversation in the comment section, because I need to know like what you guys think. Okay, starting here, right? So Ashecliffe, perfect name for a hospital that's in your head.
Yeah.
66 patients. He's the 67th. Okay, psychiatric hospital. Wife died from smoke, not fire. He said it's important to remember that. At the very beginning,
I wrote that down too.
He said it's important to remember.
It was the smoke that got her, not the fire.
It was the smoke that got her, not the fire.
Or whatever.
It was the smoke that got her, not the fire. It was the smoke that got her, not the fire. What does that mean? Because I feel like he's going deeper into what caused her to do everything. So what can smoke be interpreted as? Is it smoke and mirrors? Because there was a time when he was meeting with Andrew Latis, right? Fake Andrew Latis with the scar across his face. And then he transformed into Sheehan, Dr. Sheehan, which performing as his partner. And then next scene, there's nobody in front of him but smoke.
Yeah.
So his cigarette produced all the smoke around him. And then his wife appears bloodied with the 3 children on the floor inside of the doctor's office. And she's like kind of manic, and she's being portrayed as Rachel. But my point is that there was a moment where he walked through the smoke. And I almost said it, but then I was like trying to, I was too in shock with the whole scene because it was a very graphic scene. But he walked through the smoke towards the truth, towards partial truth, I guess, because it's not actually his wife. And it's Rachel still. But he started walking through the smoke. And so I don't know if smoke means illusion. It's not the fire that got her, it's the smoke. Yeah. It's like
it's like the cloudiness. It's like
I think that's what depression is.
Yeah, it's like the mental fog, right? It's it's smoke.
Yes. Smoke and mirrors. So I think that it wasn't the fire that got her.
Yeah.
It was the smoke.
Yeah.
Literally, because she died also a smoking gun.
Oh gosh.
Isn't that a saying?
Yeah.
Smoking gun?
It was the smoke. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
Smoking gun.
And you fire a gun.
Yes, it wasn't the fire that got her. It was the smoke.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because she didn't
so it
die
could easily
in the
say
apartment.
like, yeah, she died by fire.
Yeah.
A fired gun. It's like the play of words is insane. Throughout all of this, I had to write down a lot of the words because I started picking up on like all of the play of the words. It's it's like all of these little. Listen, the biggest revelation is that they were trying to foreshadow everything for him, right? Because this was all his like theater play, right? But they were trying to foreshadow everything for him through this Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Through this Rachel that he also created, right? And they were just playing it out, but they were everything that they said about Rachel was a foreshadowing of himself and his wife. Everything. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Which I'll get into. Which I'll get like into more. But.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go through these notes so I can like put this aside and I could just like let my brain do its thing. All right. Ward A, male. B, female. C, dangerous. Okay, we already went through that. ABC. Rachel Solando killed 3 children. Wrote that down. Sanity is not a choice. We already talked about that. The Law of 4, who is 67. The Law of 4. That's like another hint. Like 4. He's the 67th patient. They've done this a few times, is what the doctor said. Oh, prisoner versus patient, right? Because he said that there are 2 schools of doing things. Like one believes in just direct insertion and manipulating biology and kind of just zombifying people, right, and making them become zombies and tame them that way. And then the other one believes in kind of compassion, I think is what he said, but something along those lines where they are compassionate and they treat patients as people, and then hopefully come to like a conclusion and come to an understanding and find a cure that way.
Yeah.
And that the bald doctor is actually a good guy after all, because he chose to be compassionate with Teddy, and he's been kind of dedicating all this energy and all this effort, having everybody play along. Like, do you understand how crazy that is? Like having everybody play along, don't mess up, don't give anything away, keeping inmates in on it, you know, because Teddy is the most dangerous man there. And so it's crazy to like think about that. And so he did all that for nothing, but then at the end it actually worked. But then he'll never know, kind of, you know, or he will, because then Dr. Sheehan will probably tell him like, Doc, like he told me, so I think he knew, but he still decided to go
exactly.
Through with it. Dr. Sheehan was Rachel's primary, which is what I wrote down when he said that. And then at the end, Dr. Sheehan is, which makes me think, by the way, if Dr. Sheehan, right, and again, I'm trying to get to my final kind of like complete understanding of the movie, and I'm piecing it together as I go right now, but along the lines of this movie being everything that happened in his head, right, none of it being real, like we're just seeing this hypothetical thing that looks real, it all looks real, but this island is all in his head, then Dr. Sheehan being his primary and being told to him that Dr. Sheehan went on vacation and he was Rachel's primary, I think that Rachel becomes kind of like an anima, which is this animating feminine aspect of him.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why does that make sense? It's like she's the feminine part of him.
Yeah.
And that's why everything that happens is kind of like linked through her. Right? Because we don't even know if any of it's actually true. Because then if you start, because I don't know if this makes sense, but if you start thinking that all of it is actually fake and the island isn't real, then even what the doctors tell him is all his engineering.
Yeah.
So he's playing like 8-dimensional chess where even that's fake.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do get it.
That even Rachel killing the children was all kind of like his way of coping with it. But maybe he killed all of them. That's my point.
Right. Oh my gosh. You just scratched what one of my theories was.
Go.
Listen, but here's what I was going to say. Because this is my biggest theory. Is that when he said that 4 people died in that fire, because this is what I was trying to make sense of. The 4 people that died in that fire was his wife and his 3 kids. And he's the Andrew Latest that likes to play with matches. He's the Andrew Latest and it's the alcohol that's in the house, and he lit the match and he killed 4 people. And so even the story, like you're saying, if this is the truth, that even the story about his wife is fake, the wife killing the children, and he's the one all along that was responsible because he was an alcoholic, right? And then
Suffering
and
PTSD.
then he lit a match and he blew a fire that killed 4 people.
Yes.
3 kids and a wife.
Yes.
And that's probably the real story.
That's what I'm saying.
That is probably what the real story is. And there was no lake house, and there was no lake, and there was no whatever.
No.
It all happened how he said Rachel did it. How they've been saying that or not how Rachel did it. How he said that Andrew Latest did it to his wife.
Yes. Yes.
The story that he said about what Andrew Latest did to his wife, which never mentions the wife drowning the kids, is probably the real story.
It is the real story, yes.
It probably is. Like, he's the one that lit the match, and that's why he could recall the story.
Yes.
And so...
And then he keeps lighting a match when he's in Ward C, and he keeps relighting it.
And that's when I started connecting that he is Andrew Latest. And then look, when he choked out... Right? He choked out the fake Andrew Latest, right? Or that guy, right?
That's a different guy.
Or it's a different guy, right? Oh, I thought it was Andrew Latest. But then it was so weird because, no, didn't he say that he was Andrew Latest, that guy? Like he was the real Andrew Latest?
Did he say that?
I don't know. The guy that he choked out and he was like, he's like, oh, you're going to kill me? The guy that was like taunting him, and then his partner disappeared. And then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe whatever, but then he was thinking that guy was the real Andrew Latest, right? And then he choked him out. But then after he choked him out, he started doing this to himself as if he had choked himself. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, like he choked himself because he is Andrew Latest.
Oh my God.
And then I started piecing it all together, but then I didn't want to like say it because it sounded ridiculous. And then I was like, it doesn't explain, but then it does explain. I don't know if it makes sense, but it's just...
I'm telling you, look, the name of the movie and the name of the island is Shutter Island.
Yeah.
What are shutters?
Yeah, windows.
Shutters are those windows that kind of like turn like that.
Yeah.
And so shutters are designed because in the art form, in the philosophy of like feng shui, for example, if you consider like what feng shui is, which is kind of not controlling, but designing a space in order to kind of maximize the flow of energy, right? I feel like shutters, which have been around since like ancient Greece, right? Like it's like historical, like shutters have always been around. Shutters are designed, if you imagine shutters, they're designed to control ventilation, but also offer protection from the sun.
From the sun, right? Yeah.
And what does the sun usually represent in ancient mythology, ancient philosophy, ancient religion? The son of God is usually enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of the enlightened beings are usually shown with a huge yellow ball right behind their heads. And that's across every religion, Hindu, Buddhism, Christianity, everything. Like you'll always find something with like a big yellow ball behind. So that's the sun. Shutter Island is literally his mind. So
this is my...
Yeah, so he's closed the shutters, and that's why they can't leave. That's why there's a storm. Every time he gets close to the truth,
and that's what I'm saying.
He relapses back.
That is what I'm saying. Look, if what you're saying is true, right? Like all of it is in his head. All of it. Even the fact that there's this mental institution. Then even what they said about Rachel saying like, oh, she imagined that people were delivery men and people were her milkmen and whatever. That's probably what he's doing, imagining that these people are doctors and that these people are nurses. And that...
Yes, because the bald man said, he said that Rachel is assigning roles, gave everybody on the island
So
a
then
role.
I don't know. Does he mean that on the sense of like he's still associating himself as a U.S. Marshal, or does he mean it in the sense that like, hello, this is literally all happening in your head. We're not
happening in
even
your head.
real.
All happening in
We're
your
not
head.
even your doctors. We're not even your nurse. Like we're not even doctors or nurses, and you're not the like.
Because,
I don't
do
know.
you get this? Look.
Could it like it could
Rachel-
be either one of those levels though?
Rachel is a part of him.
Yes.
Because Rachel is a wound.
Yes.
It's a wound that he is kind of pointing all the blame towards. So she was like a wound in his life in some capacity. It's like maybe her depression made him miserable. Like maybe he was just miserable and he was drinking. The scene with the car where he uses the tie, right? And then you get a glimpse of how he actually felt towards his wife in that little moment. He says that the tie is fucking horrific anyways. He hates it. It's like he was literally a drunk who was living this role of like maybe he beat his wife, maybe he abused her, whatever. It's like maybe he hated his kids. And then my point is that scene with the car, he gets his tie, he wets it with gasoline, with alcohol, right? With gasoline, and then he lights it. And then he explodes. And then what happens? It shows the wife, Rachel, and the little girl being absorbed and consumed by the fire. And I'm getting full body chill. So maybe this is what makes the most sense for me. Is that in those glimpses where nothing is said and it's only shown, you see what actually happens. Yes. And then you see his sense. And then he's like literally like hiding behind a tree kind of. Yes, he's hiding behind a tree kind of, and then you even see him have like glimpses of remorse where right before it like explodes, he sees his daughter go next to his wife because who he hated was his wife. Yes. He hated his wife. And then as like a side effect, not a side effect, but as like a result. As like a bystander, I guess, his kids went with her kind of. And then that's why when his daughter walks towards her, he says, no. Kind of like, no, it's not meant for you. It's meant for, and then both of them kind of die, engulfed in the flame, literally engulfed by the flame. And then who knows if that's his car? Like whose car is it? Who knows? Because this is a fake place. This is Disneyland. This is a fairyland. Do you understand? And then the doctor, they're all figments and parts of his mind that he's assigned a role to. This guy was a smart guy, just like Rachel was a brilliant woman. He's a smart guy. He's a smart dude. So all of the sayings, all of the things, everything was kind of just him giving them the role. And then that's why the bald doctor said, I love that car. I really like that car, you know? And then who knows if that's his car? Because I couldn't really like pay attention towards the end, which I forgot to analyze because I kept telling myself, what if that's the car that he arrives with?
And the other doctor is German. Because it's a projection of his time in the war.
Because he doesn't trust doctors. And so he conveniently needed a head doctor to be German. Don't you understand? Like he conveniently needed, because then he would start with the whole like conspiracy theory of which isn't really a conspiracy theory because it's been proven, but Operation Paperclip, which was after the Second World War. The United States recruited a bunch of Nazis, and this is all very well documented. And they kind of even put a bunch of Nazis in NASA to like do further experiments and further advancements in technology, because apparently the Germans had obtained this like extraterrestrial, otherworldly level of development. And then after the war, like they kind of recruited them in exchange for their lives. Basically, it's like, all right, we'll let you live if you come work for us and give us everything you know. So for him, again, it makes sense, but then of course he would make that up. Of course, because none of it's real. None of it clicks. None of it connects. You can't get a whole... Think about this. Think about this for 1 second. He's at a mental asylum. What are the odds, the probability of you who runs the hospital to get all of the inmates to follow a script and to act accordingly to anything that's consistent, that anything that's going to benefit anyone outside of themselves? How? You can't. They're all insane. How can they follow a script? How did none of them like start screaming? There was one guy who was screaming like, how could they not say like, hey, it's a lie.
Yeah.
They're doing it again. Ah. None of them said it.
Mm.
All of them just followed the script like, shh,
Yeah.
like, don't say anything. So it doesn't make sense to me. It's like you can't because they're all insane.
Yeah.
And then in the cave when he meets the fake Rachel, which now we'll just agree that it's all fake for the sake of this of this conclusion, which is only my own, by the way. So you don't have to like adopt it.
No, I knew that I knew that the fire thing, he had to have killed his wife and 3 kids. 4 people. How convenient is it that it's 4 people and he had 3 kids and he had a wife?
Yes.
How convenient is it that it was 4 people only that died in this fire?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's when I was like, it makes no... I knew there had to be a connection.
Yeah.
It's like, he is the Andrew Lattis that lit a fire and killed his wife.
And I think
and then everything else is in his head. Everything else.
And I think that's why Andrew Lattis, when he finally confronts this version that he's created of Andrew Lattis,
but it's like I
don't care. Like this is exciting to me. So again, comment below though. Like let's talk. But Andrew Lattis, right? Oh wait, hold on. Andrew Lattis. Okay, so to me, Andrew Lattis is his unresolved shadow self, right? It's literally the inner demon. All of us have inner demons. That's a fact. It's like you can't deny that. All of you watching, we all have the capacity for maximum good and maximum evil. It's morals, ethics that kind of keep us at bay and kind of civilize us as animals, I guess, if you want to view humans as animals. But that's the whole idea of like ancient philosophy, ancient Greek philosophy. They all talk about ethics and morals, and they all try to understand like what is it that makes a man good, makes a man bad. So that's the conversation he had with the warden in the car, right? The warden basically said that God loves violence. And think about it. Think about this. The warden is dressed as a military douchebag, which I think is what he called him when he first saw him. It's like, looks like some ex-military prick. Yeah. And the military prick, again, he was in the military, right? The military prick, which is himself, an aspect of himself. So it's the military aspect of himself. It's the part of himself who he's trying to compartmentalize. The military prick, which is this like strong man, which is this whatever, reassures him that what he did is okay because God loves violence. So think about it. If you're in heavy denial of what you did and you do something that's truly irreversible, like kill your whole family, you would want to hear from an official, a consecrated official, a hero, a warden, the owner of the building, the warden. Well, maybe not the owner, but the warden, right? Which only appears in like 2 moments, I think, right? 2 or 3 moments. He tells him that God loves violence and that the purpose of existence is to be violent.
And then can I tell you something else? Oh gosh. Everyone is just like a figment of himself, right?
Yes.
In some capacity.
It's like a fractal.
Like if we're going down this route, then we're going to go all the way.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this and I didn't know if it made sense because I was like, am I imagining this? But that freaking guy, what was his name? George Noyce, right?
Yeah.
He goes to talk to George Noyce in the cell and he's lighting matches and to look at him and stuff. And he's like, show me your face. And it's like, and the guy's like avoiding the show. When I heard the George Noyce voice, I thought that I was literally hearing Teddy's voice.
Ooh.
It sounds like they have... Please, someone tell me if I'm wrong, but they sounded like they had the exact same voice.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, is this supposed to be like himself? You know what I'm trying to say?
Because it is himself.
And then it's like everything that he's saying, like, look, it's so weird. It says, he says, I recognize that voice because it's his own, is what I thought.
Oh my God.
Because it literally sounded like his own. And am I going crazy?
No.
It's like maybe he never met a George Noyce and in a prison or whatever, like he said. that was just himself. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, and
I
then-
started writing like he says, "You're not investigating anything."
You're right. You're right. Can I tell you why you're right?
Oh my God.
Can I tell you why? Yes. Because of his bruise.
Oh my gosh.
His bruise. He hurt himself.
Yes.
That's why they had to just say like, hey, like we have to just do
And
this
they
one
had the
last
same
try.
colored eyes.
Yeah.
It's like it was supposed to be. Listen, he says you're not investigating anything. He's like, you either kill Ladis or like dig the truth or whatever. So if you kill Ladis, which means if you kill yourself, right?
Through lobotomy.
Then you deny the truth. So he says you have to pick one. It's either you find the truth or you kill Ladis.
Yes, and
So if you-
killing Ladis
is killing himself.
which is lobotomy,
Yes.
which is refusal of the truth.
Yes.
So if he finds this, look at this. Pay attention to this, right? Right? Oh my God! Like I'm getting full. This is the funnest reaction for me. George Noyce said that he's never gonna get out of there because Andrew Ladis, like he needs to kill Andrew Ladis, and I think he even says kill Andrew Ladis to set me free. It's like the only right. Like he said something like that where unless Teddy, who his fake name was what? What was his fake name? Before finding out that he's Andrew Ladis.
Edward the thingy?
Yeah, whatever his name is. Like I don't. Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
Edward. Edward.
something.
Yeah, Edward.
Edward, right? So there was something along those lines where he said that because he wasn't succeeding in this experiment, essentially, that nobody could be free. Do you understand? It's because everybody is him.
Yes,
And so he's begging. He's like, dude, figure it out. Like, we want to be free.
That's why I'm saying, look, this is the moral of the story. It's all in his head, right? He is struggling so immensely to forgive himself for the heinous things that he's done, that he has created this whole thing in his head that he's even a mental patient worth saving and whatever, right? It's like he is so, like, he has not been able to forgive himself so deeply that he literally has created all these people, like them telling him that if you just like realize, then you free all of us. It's because it's literally all
save
just
the world.
in his head.
Yes.
Yeah. And then that goes to the saying that I feel like we were talking about this saying, right? Like if you gaze into the abyss, right, then the abyss gazes back into you, right?
Nietzsche.
Right.
Yeah.
If you gaze long into the abyss, then the abyss gazes into you, right?
Yeah.
He has gazed so long into this abyss that the abyss has completely consumed him. And that is the danger of gazing long into the abyss. It's not like, if you look at it in that sense, it's like he is gazing long into this abyss.
That's so crazy.
That the abyss
Literally.
gazes into him, which means it just consumes him fully. It's like a dangerous game.
What you just said, it's the part of my. Hold on. All right, so what you just said, right? Hear me out on this. If you really just try to follow real quick, right? And I just say try to follow because it might seem like crazy, because to me it might not make, I don't know if any of this is making sense.
I don't know either.
Oh well, we're already too deep into this. The unmanifest, right? The unmanifest is where all of us come from. Right? So babies, for example, before they're born, they come from somewhere, right? They have to come from somewhere, right? Nothing to something. So you come from the unmanifest. The unmanifest is the formless void. It's pure darkness. It's the abyss, right? So if you stare long enough into the abyss, just like Nietzsche said, if you stare long enough into the abyss stares into you. He stared so long into the abyss, just like you said, that it started forming things. He started using the unmanifested darkness and started forming things, forming people, forming roles, forming an island, forming an imagery, forming a story, because he's been there so long.
Exactly. And look, here's an inconsistency, right? They told him it's all, we all just like we're going along, right? But why did they keep telling him, you came here alone? He didn't come here alone. They already said that. They already revealed that it was Dr. Sheehan, right?
Sheehan, yeah.
So it's like he didn't come here alone, but everybody was telling him you came here alone
yeah.
because he is going there alone because it's all in his head.
Yes.
You come in here
Bingo's
alone.
Nemo. Yeah, bingo's
It's like
Nemo.
you came here alone. Everything is alone because it's all within.
Yes. Can I just say how
no
brilliant?
one else could come with you.
Can I just point out how brilliant that what you just did is?
Oh my God.
It's crazy because that's exactly it, and I didn't even think about that. And then look at the end, right? The bald doctor basically kneels next to him just like a child. It's like this guy murdered his family. Kneeled next to him and said, "The hope of the universe is up to you. You can be a hero or you can." He created the whole thing so that in the end, he still got his pie.
Hero. Yeah.
He died a hero.
Oh, God.
Because this guy is so far removed from reality. He's gone completely psychotic. So insane. Literally, he's gone insane to the point where he created a narrative where at the end, he honorably sacrifices himself. And he dies a good man in his story. Think about that. That's crazy.
And it makes no sense. Look, the thing that they all told him you came here alone, that makes no sense because of the Dr. Sheehan thing, right?
Yeah.
And then what's interesting, I wrote this down and now it kind of like all connects, right?
Yeah.
Is that Dr. Sheehan or Chuck, when he's playing Chuck,
Yeah, Chuck, I wrote.
even struggled to take off his gun. So if he was
Oh
a
my
U.S.
God.
Marshal, he
Oh
would
my
have been able
God.
to take off his gun, right?
Oh my God, I got full
He
body
was like
chills.
struggling so, and I wrote that down because I even like made a face. I was like, why is he so like? And I had no idea that all of this.
So stiff.
Yeah, he struggled. He even took it off with the harness and all. Like he like was struggling and whatever. Usually you would be able to just like
just
unclip
unzip
it and that's it. It's like they do this all the time.
That's why the police officer like kind of like gave him a look.
Yeah, it's like you're
like
gonna fuck
annoyed.
it up for
Yeah.
us. It's like you're gonna blow this whole thing.
God.
But again, blow this whole thing, but it's all him. And
Oh my
he has
God.
to create all these layers of like it's so cracked, right? That even in his mind, in his mental, there are cracks.
Yeah.
So it shows when this U.S. Marshal doctor struggles to like it's cracking because he even can't keep up with it in his own head.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
why there's no consistency.
cracks.
That's what I said about the camera shots.
Oh God.
There's no continuity. Like there is, but it's very sporadic. It's very and look, right? Oh wait, hold on. Shoot. Oh wait. What were you saying about the gun?
You said continuity, sporadic.
No.
Oh,
About the gun.
the gun and that it's all in his head and that there's cracks and like
Okay. So I personally think that genius is always coupled with insanity. That's why Kanye West, for example, like love him or hate him, but what he said in this particular instance, I just want to clarify that, what he said in this particular instance is true. He said that tell me one genius that isn't crazy.
Yeah.
Because it all goes line in line. Do you understand? It's like hot and cold. It's just a spectrum, right? So it's a point on the spectrum,
yeah.
but it's a part of the same foundation. So imagine a ruler, a long ruler. You have hot and you have cold. They're different, but they're the same.
Yeah.
Because they're on the same
That's
ruler.
that's which we talked about with like love and hate.
Love and hate.
It's like
Love, hate.
they're not two different
Same thing.
things. They're
Yeah.
on the same spectrum.
Same essence.
Right.
Same kind of like animating principles. Same.
Because the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. That's
perfect. Yeah.
So the same thing. It's like the opposite of genius is not insanity. It's just it's just neutrality.
Yeah, it's ignorance.
It's ignorance. Exactly.
Which is what insanity is.
Exactly.
Because Einstein, oh my God, because Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So what you just pointed out with the love thing, which is brilliant and beautiful, I think it's like the opposite of love is indifference. And so the opposite of genius is ignorance. And ignorance is bliss. It's a bliss that lasts not long because it's not substantial bliss.
Yeah.
It's a superficial bliss. And so ignorance is what he chose at the end. But he didn't really choose ignorance, but then he had the choice in his own little fucked up world where he decided to just be ignorant. And so genius is like awareness. It's like if you're a genius, then you're hyper aware of the fabrics of reality. You're hyper aware of the complexities and the layers of everything. And so the opposite of that is indifference or ignorance.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy. Like
that's insane.
That's insane.
That what you said
that's
is
insane.
crazy.
That's insane right there.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, but yeah, so like look, genius, right? So my point is Andrew Laeddis is a genius. But his genius was misused and misguided. And so he became insane. But the level, so for example, we watched the Dark Knight trilogy, right? Joker is a genius.
Yeah.
You have to admit that the Joker is a genius.
Yes, and he's insane.
He's insane.
Yes.
But then in that reaction, like you guys could go back because it's been a while, and I don't even remember exactly, but I think I even like kind of not sympathized, but I kind of understood Bane's point of view, his critique on society, the Joker's point of view, his critique on human nature. It's like these are complex ideas and ideals that these insane people kind of just want to enforce into the world.
So it's not like you can be one or the other, and that's it.
It comes hand in hand.
Exactly.
You have to have both.
Oh, that's insane.
That is insane. or it's
that's
genius.
Genius. That is genius.
Or
what you
insane.
say, what you're saying is both.
My head hurts.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, hold on. Like, let's try to.
Yeah, let's go.
Sorry.
No, we're having fun.
I don't think I've been this excited in a while
Me
to
neither.
do a.
I don't think you guys understand. Like, I've never been this mind blown about anything.
Look, I've said this before, but doing this, like breaking the fourth wall completely, doing this like YouTube thing has benefited my life in such a way that you guys can never even like fathom, because I can't fathom it myself. It's like every time we sit down to do these movies and we have these conversations, it just does something to my soul where it's just like I become a changed person. It's like you guys, I wish you guys understood. And that's one of the reasons why, like, again, I'll just reiterate it. People like, some people, a lot of you guys are really, really understanding, and I really appreciate that. But some of you guys are like very upset at the fact that we're not like mass producing these like reaction videos. It's because I need time to breathe. It's like I need time. These movies, like I take them very deeply. Like I take everything in life, I absorb it in such a deep level for myself, like deep inside of me, I mean. And then I need some time to like let it kind of sit. And let my system kind of digest it, let my system kind of just make sense of it. Like you guys should see my other notebook, which is just like hers over here. It's filled with like things that I find in my day-to-day life. I like jot things down. Like I'll tell you, like I was brushing my teeth and then I thought about this thing. I thought about this idea, and then I jot it down. And so my whole life has been this. I'm like a real overthinker, like the realest overthinker that you could think of.
Yeah.
It's like what I am.
But that's why like. That's why whenever we like some of the times when we see like negative comments, we just like take you like you're off the channel kind of thing. Like that's it, because it's like, because for example, there will be people who say that like, you know, like if we cared about views or whatever, it's like we would be pumping out videos every day. It's like which we're not. It's like everything that we do, why we take notes, even though people tell us stop taking notes, pay attention. Why we do this? It's because it's literally like it's what it does for us and what we hope it does for other people. It's like it's this like real breaking down of not the movie but of our life, of this thing that we're doing. It's like
this to me, guys, is my higher education. It's like I dropped out of community college.
Yeah, I dropped out of college too.
Yeah, like one semester in, I just realized it wasn't for me. And so I've always had imposter syndrome, which is what I alluded to earlier, and I've always been self-taught, and I've always believed in like teaching myself stuff, and everything teaches me. Everything is instructive, is what my philosophy is. Everything is instructive. A good thing, a bad thing happens. You can learn from it. You always have a choice. Like you either learn from it and grow with it, or you do the opposite, which is whatever you want to define it as. But then these movies,
Yeah.
Every movie I'm growing, every movie I'm learning. And like these notes are things that I'm going to pass down to our children. It's things that I'm going to like tell them about. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to be like, yeah, you know, like genius and insanity, you know, like I used to know this guy, Andrew Latus, you know, he's denial.
Yeah.
Denial's not good, kids. It's like, that's what I'm going to like, that's what I'm kind of like aiming for. And so all of that to say that everything is welcome, obviously, the positive feedback, the negative feedback, and just know that I take the good with the bad, I take the bad with the good. I just, like, that's life. Like, you can't avoid.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's more so like, how do I explain? I just think that I guess it's like but being wishful and having desires is wrong in a sense, but it's like I just wish that people would see kind of like, you know, I don't know, just see like, I guess the value or just the effort kind of. It's like but I guess that's like, I guess that wish is kind of for myself too. It's like It's like wanting to see that effort and value in myself. And so then it's like, which is crazy, you know, it's like if you see like a negative comment that makes you like upset or whatever, it's always a projection. So like even if something is upsetting you, it's a projection of whatever is unresolved within yourself. And I feel like that's what happens when I see comments that kind of are like hateful or rude or whatever it is. It's like, how can you not see or acknowledge the efforts that we make and the value that we try to bring and whatever? But that's just me having to tell that and figure that out for myself. And I feel like that's what I just realized right now in in this very moment.
And I agree 100% because look, historically speaking, I've always, and I vow to this day forward, if this channel gets 100 billion subscribers, right? Just like for the sake of hyperbole, however many subscribers, a year from now, 10 years from now, whatever, I'm always going to be the exact same person that I am right now. And I want you guys all to hold me accountable to that.
Yeah, me too.
Because look, I'm going to always come on. I'm going to rip my chest open. I'm going to leave my heart bare. I'm going to leave my soul bare. And I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I believe in. It's like, that's what life is anyways. So why not just do it deliberately? Like do it myself and just be the first one to actually just go down that route. Because most people go all through their life kind of trying to protect and trying to shield themselves from the world.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in that. Like, I believe I'll come on here if I'm going through personal troubles. I'm going to come on here. If anyone in my family, whatever, passes away and it's freaking destroying me, I'm going to come on here. I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to just vent. I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to heal and in order to just express myself, because I feel like it's that, like, that's where people get killed.
Yeah.
Metaphorically and literally. It's because they keep it all within. And then they keep it bottled up, which I've done. Like, I've been severely depressed, clinically depressed, wanting to off myself, whatever, keep it all bottled in. And then all of those dementors and those demons, like, they just feed off of your carcass, just like vultures. Like, they just come and they feed off of it. And then you're there alone on the ground and it's cold and it's dark. And then eventually you just have to decide. It's like, all right, so are you going to just vomit it out, even if it comes off disgustingly, even if it comes off in a fit of rage, even if it comes off with like cursing, even if it comes off explosive? You have to let it out, because the initial letting out is always going to be like nasty. It's always going to be ugly. But then over time, you just practice small little like practices every day of like achieving balance. It's like, oh, like this thing happened to me. Instead of bottling it in and burying it deep within, just like Teddy did, you start finding ways of like communicating with people and communicating your feelings and emotions and what's bothering you and what's not. And then you come to a resolution and you come to like a good place. And that's how you maintain balance and sanity in this world. And so all that to say that whenever I see like a bad comment, I've been teaching myself to exercise pity, because to me, those are people who have deep unresolved aspects of themselves, and they come on the internet, they go on Reddit, they do whatever, and they make it part of their whole existence to kind of break down and devalue someone else who is trying to bring value into the world.
Yeah.
And so I feel like those are the people who gather an army of little minions and goblins and then point a spotlight at someone that they're convincing their little army of underdeveloped psyches, underdeveloped brains, to just like, okay, we're gonna attack this thing because I said so, and because this is a, but I think that the spotlight has to be turned on those people, because then they start examining themselves and they start seeing themselves.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they spend their whole life just targeting other people, that they forget to really look at themselves. And that's the big irony, because whatever you hate is unresolved aspects of yourself. So if you hate a billionaire, if you hate a successful person, whatever it is, a good-looking person, whatever it is, it's because you have deep-seated insecurities and traumas and wounds that most likely stem from your childhood, and it comes from your parents, and it comes from your parents' parents, and just whatever. So I've just decided, honestly, for my own sanity, I'll read a comment. If it's bad, I usually have a good laugh. I exercise pity, and then that person's removed, and that's it.
And then what's so weird about like everything we're saying and how much it ties into this movie is that that's exactly what Teddy does, because he comes into this mental institution saying, you know, like talking to the doctor, saying like, oh, these people are murderers though, right?
Yeah.
They're murderers, so screw sense of calm. It's like he is the murderer.
Yeah.
And so he projects those feelings onto other people. And then
perfect.
It just makes me think of this quote, right? Because this is what I'm telling you, that a lot of healing is self-forgiveness. And that's what I'm discovering for myself, right? Because I've like, you know, done things I'm not proud of. And I don't really want to get into like specifics, because I don't think that like,
no, it's not worth it.
But
like, as long as you do the work and you know, like we already did all that.
But it makes me think of the quote, to err is human and to forgive is divine. And so it's like that has to be applied to yourself, or else you are always going to, and this is something that I've experienced too, is that I've been in like paranoias of like the world is out to get me. But that's because I've created an unsafe kind of environment in myself. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's because it's like, I've created a space in myself that's filled with like self-hatred and whatever else, that it projects itself in my reality, that I feel like other people hate me, or that other people, whatever. And everything all along, is still like a lot of it, like a lot of our traumas can be traced back to childhood, because there's no other explanation for how you spiral into the person you are today without the years of everything you've undergone in life, right?
It's called formative years for a reason. It's when you're formed.
But then my point is that you decide now, like wherever you are, you decide to kind of forgive whatever it was, and also forgive yourself for whatever it is. Yeah. And that's what that quote is. It's like, to err is human, which means like we all have faults. It's a human thing. It's just like it's like seen. It's like oh my God, this is so crazy. But outside of the sorry, I'm getting like so whatever.
No, don't apologize.
But outside
I'm
of
the entertained.
Outside of the mental institution next to the cemetery, right? It said,
remember us, for we have also lived.
Yeah, remember us for remember us for we too have lived, loved, and laughed.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, but that's literally telling you, like, it's not even supposed to be for like an afterlife. It's supposed to be for right now. It's like, remember, how do I explain it?
Can I try to pick it up?
Yeah.
So you're saying basically the person that wrongs you in your life, like be it a parent, be it a random stranger on the street, you can kind of resent them, and you can kind of double down on violence, just like the warden said. or you can start remembering that that person at one point also loves, laughs, and lives kind of like as like a pure essence.
And that you should give that to yourself too. So like in my case, right, like I struggle with like self-forgiveness for certain things. And so it's like, remember that you too, like it's in the book that I'm reading, which I referenced last time, the Inner Work book by Matt and Ash, I think they are. But it's like saying that you too, no matter what, are deserving of love, of forgiveness, of everything, of peace, of just whatever. Because like I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but
forgiveness is the ultimate mercy.
But then that's why it's, you know, to forgive is divine, because it is. It's like we all are human and we all make mistakes. And we all have faults and we all have downfalls, and then to forgive ourselves and to forgive others is divine. It's like, it's where you find peace. It's where you find
God.
And so it's like, like, I don't know.
Yes.
It's just a lot.
Yes.
But it's just like, I guess it makes me, like, it makes me sad, because like this story of everything that's happening could have been avoided if this person just forgave himself.
Yes.
For whatever it was, even if the extent of it is brutal.
Yeah.
But if he forgave himself, he would liberate himself. It's like,
and he would liberate the world.
Everyone in this thing that he.
Which again, like we've said this before. We don't subscribe to any particular religion. I don't, and I'm speaking for myself. But we've already discussed this and stuff. But we believe in God. Like, we believe in a higher power and a higher force. Just random thought that I had, right? Like, isn't it like? Doesn't it go how Jesus is on the cross and he's getting tortured and they're ripping open his stomach with the spear while he's on the cross, and he's already been there for a while and he's already undergone so much suffering and so much torment and torture that he then, in this predicament, right, that most people would like ask God, like, why are you doing this to me? Or they would curse God and they would whatever. He, in this predicament of being crucified, which I've like mentioned this before, that the cross is like an X.
Yeah.
So X marks the spot, and at the point of maximum suffering is also the point of maximum transformation.
Yes.
So you like both meet at the same point in the crossroads. But anyways, so he's on the cross, right? And what does he do? He says, Lord, forgive them, for they
know not what they do.
For they know not what they do. So it's crazy. He's literally suffering more than most people will ever, thankfully, fathom, right? And then he looks at God and he asks God to forgive them. Think about that. So forgiveness is the highest form of grace. Forgiveness is the highest form of mercy. Forgiveness is mercy. And mercy is grace. And grace is God. Because every religion, every mystical tradition teaches to walk with grace and to treat and to live life gracefully.
And I don't know if you guys knew this, because I didn't know this until this year, but the story of Judas, right, like in the Bible, is that he betrays Jesus, right? He sells him out, and he's the one responsible for Jesus being crucified. And and like a similar is Peter, who denies knowing Jesus, right, 3 times, which he said, like, you will deny me 3 times, right, before the Son, whatever. And he does. He denies him. He's like, oh, I don't know Jesus. He dissociates himself, from Jesus when he's questioned and whatever, and he denies him. But then he asks for forgiveness, and Jesus gives it, and then he's forgiven, and that's it. And he says, Lord, I will not fail you again, and I will. He just tells Peter, like, go and do my work, you know,
spread my gospel, spread my work.
Go and do my works, and that's it. And then Peter just goes and is back to being his whatever faithful disciple, and that's it. But then the opposite is Judas, who spirals in the shame and doesn't forgive himself, and then the result, which I didn't even know,
which you
is
told me
that
about.
he ends his own life.
Yes.
He hangs himself from a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like,
Yeah.
that is what happens. That is what happens when you allow the darkness to consume you.
Yes. That's what happens when guilt consumes you.
Yeah.
Guilt and
no,
fear.
shame. Because
Shame,
like
yeah.
shame is, guilt is like, oh, I did something bad. But
Mhm.
then shame is that I am bad. And if you let
Yes.
shame consume you, then it will literally lead to your collapse.
Demise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight to your demise. Yeah.
But that's what's going on here. And I think that a weird thing, right? When he looked down from the cliff and he saw that body, again, because this could all be happening in his head, it was himself.
Yes,
after
that's what I
committing,
thought. Yeah.
after committing, after ending his own life.
Mhm.
And that's what he was seeing.
Yes.
He was seeing himself down on the rocks.
Yes.
And that,
Oh my God.
that's like a branch of an outcome that could happen.
Oh my
that
God.
he just can't bear it anymore.
Because that cliff is important, because the name of the hospital is called Ashecliffe. So
Yeah.
the ashes of the burning apartment, the ashes of his children, the ashes of his wife, and then the cliff is him dead on the ground. And then this is all like because look, what I thought about too is this. Do you guys know about psychopomps? I don't know if you're familiar with like the idea of psychopomps. So essentially psychopomps are these guides, right? And throughout history, like you have them from ancient Egyptian mythology. You have, I believe it's Anubis, who was the god of bombing and mummification. And he would be the one that would guide you in the afterlife to the Duat or Ma'at. No, Ma'at is the one that, whatever, like I'm kind of crusty. But you had Anubis. You have the modern Grim Reaper. You had, in Greek philosophy, I think it was Hermes Trismegistus, who is a reimagining or a repackaging of the ancient Egyptian god Thoth. You had, I think in Hindu mythology, you have Yama. And you have all of these guides, essentially, right? That are just representatives of what comes with death. And so there's a guide that comes as death, sometimes viewed as death itself, just like the Grim Reaper, but it's just a guide that kind of takes you over to the other side. And so I started thinking to myself, what if Dr. Sheehan is Teddy's psychopomp? Because he's always with him and he's kind of guiding him and he's kind of saying like, maybe we should go to Ward C. Like I caught that shit. Like I saw him kind of like nudging and instigating him and giving him kind of like crumbs of enlightenment and crumbs of truth, right? But I think that was like maybe a psychopomp in this realm, because with this idea that you're saying, maybe he's having a whole out of body experience and maybe he did take his life when he killed himself. When he jumped off a cliff after he had done what he had done. Like maybe he drove somewhere and did it.
Yeah.
And maybe this island is just part of Boston, right? Because Boston is a coastline city, right? Isn't it on the coast or something?
Oh, yeah. Like
doesn't it have like a
Cape
sea?
Cod?
Yeah, like, or maybe I'm just a potato, which is what I am.
No, I think so.
But like maybe he just jumped off a cliff somewhere in Boston, if Boston has like water like that. And then that's what it is. And then after that, he just basically like did this whole thing, created all of this, and it's all just a figment of his soul kind of traversing through the afterlife and trying to find enlightenment and trying to cope.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the idea that it's just
I was
I don't
thinking
know.
it like when he saw himself on the rocks, like it was just because everything's kind of like all over the place,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
like even when Dr.
Yeah.
Sheehan appears and then he disappears when when he's like in that room by himself with the smoke and stuff.
when he shoots the ball doctor.
Yeah, and then it didn't really shoot.
Yeah.
It's like my point is that scene where he thought he saw Chuck on the rocks, it was him envisioning himself on the rocks
Mhm.
because he he literally alluded to it for himself. Like Chuck, his partner, Dr. Sheehan, told him like, no, like it's like suicide if like going down there.
Yeah.
You know, like if he goes traversing to get to the lighthouse, he's like, you might like that's basically ending your own life if you try to get to the lighthouse. And then that's what he envisions, except he thought that it was Chuck, but it was really himself. Is what I thought, and that's why he was like observing it.
The only reason I'm saying that it might have been him actually dying is because then it was after that he climbs up into the cave, and then he starts getting all of this information, and so that's the moment where he starts distrusting Chuck, Dr. Sheehan, and then he starts like, that's when the whole story twists and turns, because he sees himself dead. And then maybe like that triggers something, and he finally like falls into the
I don't know, but it's just all like
look, it's all over the place, and that's what's fun about it. But all right, so quickly just continuing this
go
because again, like, these are random words and we already like covered a lot of it. Men of violence versus violent men, there's a difference. He said that he was a man of violence, meaning that he was a victim of circumstance, versus a man who who chooses violence. I feel like violence, which is what the warden kind of alluded to, it's a survival mechanism, because they talk about mechanisms a lot. So defense mechanism, survival mechanism. And then the warden basically says that violence is if you put a piece of meat in between me and you, and we're starving, I'm gonna you'll probably bash my skull in order and eat my flesh because you're starving. So in order to perpetuate your own soul and your own survival and your own experience, maybe not your soul if you kill someone, but your whole experience, you're going to resort to violence. And so men of violence is men of circumstance. It's like he became a soldier. He probably thought that he was fighting for his country. And then he ended up committing these atrocious kind of war crimes, essentially. I don't know if that's considered war crime. But killing in cold blood, like killing unarmed soldiers, just whatever. So that's a philosophical debate: men of violence versus violent men.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then this part, right? I literally wrote ashes, comma, fire, comma, water. Again, hold on. Okay, so in alchemy, in occult philosophy too, but in alchemy more specifically, there's a thing called calcification. And calcification is when you would get...
Oh, I got pen on my pants.
when you would get a composite rock or a composite of like elements, and you would get like a rock that is made up of 3 different rocks, 3 different types of stone, right? You put that under intense fire, and then you would eventually arrive at gold. And so if you got lead, then in order to purify lead and transform it into gold, for example, you would do that process, and then you would put it under intense heat, like an intense flame, like the most intense one, and then eventually you would keep doing that until you arrived at the purest essence of that stone. And then that's the physical manifestation. And in this world, for those of us who seek the truth, you understand that the physical is kind of an illusion, right? It's Maya. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's the cyclical nature of samsara. It's the cycle of birth and rebirth. It's the cycle of birth and death. So to escape that, you have to start understanding that the physical is an illusion, because you're stuck in the cycle of birth and rebirth, and that everything is a representation of the world within. So as above, so below. And that's where Hermeticism takes hold of that whole kind of philosophy. But then my point is, calcification is using fire. And so to purify something, you put it under intense fire and flame and heat. And so that's when you realize like what's real and what's not. And that's why in these movies, like when someone's interrogating someone, it's under intensity. So intensity brings out the truth. Always. Intensity will always bring out the truth. Just like in Harry Potter, like Malfoy, right? Like every time he has to like fend for himself, he crumbles like under the weight. Yeah. And so under the intensity, he always crumbles. And that's where you realize that he's a coward. Like he's truly a coward. And so fire equals, I think, purification. And I'm just going to write this down so I can remember later. Purification. And then water because fire and water were very prevalent, and at one point they were all mixed in together. So water is what's called in alchemy dissolution. So dissolution is when you wash away and you cleanse. Water is cleansing. And so you purify and then you cleanse. And I feel like I just wrote that down. Well, I just wrote fire and water, but then I was thinking this and I couldn't write all this down. But I think that that's what was happening in his dreams and his visions is my point, is that he was like, there was a purification moment, which was the fire, and then the water with the lake house and stuff and the kids being washed away. And so it's the cleansing of his sins is what he wished had happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
All right. So just that, cleansing. So water is cleansing. Okay. And then 2 schools, zombifying or calm understanding towards the patients, right? You could either zombify them through lobotomy, or you can take a compassionate role.
Yeah.
We've already covered that, the 2 schools. Andrew Latus is an arsonist. Warfare versus murder, they're not the same thing. I kind of forgot about that, but yeah. Operation Paperclip is when the Nazis were brought into the U.S. and they were put into government programs.
Oh, the warfare versus murder because of the soldiers lined up and them just like.
Oh, right, yeah. So people usually can't distinguish the two, I think, is my point, which I kind of touched on how he like killed them cold-blooded. Yeah, and then the whole idea of like a war hero and stuff, yeah, that we just kind of go along with it. This is interesting. The name Dolores is his wife, right?
Yeah.
In Spanish, Dolores means sorrow. Dores.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm Brazilian and I speak Portuguese, and then I thought to myself, Dores. Dores is like pains. It's like wounds. And so his wife's name is literally Dolores, sorrows.
Yeah.
Which means sorrow.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure that's what it means in Spanish. And that's what she is. His wife is the manifestation of his sorrows, which, oh my,
of his pain,
freaking God, dude. Oh my God. And I'm saying dude to you guys cause I feel and to you as well, but I feel like in this space, like I'm also like you guys are kind of like
right there,
right here with us. Yeah. Dude or duet or whatever.
do
yeah.
that.
It's not gender specific. It's what we said earlier. Everyone in this world is of his own making, right?
Yeah.
His wife is an aspect of himself. Yeah. His wife is the anima, which again is the occult philosophy. It's like whatever. It's the animating principle. It's the feminine energy. It's the soul. The feminine in occult philosophy is usually associated with the moon. The moon controls the subconscious. Water is usually associated with being feminine. Water is representative of emotions, right? The ocean, the tide, and the moon controls the subconscious and also controls the ocean, and hopefully you guys follow. But so she is the physical personification, embodiment of his emotional sorrows. And that's why she is present in this island that is in his head. And the storm also comes because it's with the storm, it's with the dark night of the soul, which we see in The Dark Knight Rises. Literally, it's all kind of like in our faces. And then if you have eyes to see, then you'll see. But The Dark Knight Rises. So the dark night of the soul, when Bruce Wayne is down there and he's just going through it. He's at his lowest point. He's literally in hell. He has his dark night of the soul, and then he rises. And then by rising, he throws the rope down. And I even cried during this moment because to me it was so profound. He saves himself, and then he saves others as a result, as a byproduct. And so the dark night of the soul is represented in this one as the storm. The storm comes and it rips and it destroys, but it's also a crucible, because the whole island is a crucible. And here's a fun fact. In alchemy, and I'm just spiraling and going crazy with this movie, but the symbol for crucible, or is it the other way around? Because I'm still like a novice in like learning these like more ancient philosophies or whatever. But I think that one is the other and the other is one, or whatever. But the calcification process and crucible which is a place where different elements come together and they form a new element and they kind of interact with each other. The island itself is a crucible, and the symbol for these two things are the same. So hopefully that makes some sense. So with the fire and the purification process is the same symbol as the place where it happens. And so because they are one and the same. And so the island is the crucible, and the storm is kind of part of the whole purification process. It comes and it rips things open. It literally ripped the graveyard door that they were stuck in open when they arrived at some form of truth. And the timing was impeccable, because I even said it. I was like, oh my God, the timing.
Yeah.
It's like when they arrived at some truth, it was ripped right open. And so it's all kind of like seems and feels like a movie, because it is a movie in its head.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
No, that actually makes a lot of sense. And then it's interesting too, right? Because of what you said, like water can be associated with like cleansing and dissolution, right?
Yeah.
And then but then something like a hurricane, like what was going on, is both disastrous, but then also in the sense
revealing.
Yeah. So then it's both.
Yes.
Huh.
It's all revealing.
That's crazy.
It's completely revealing, because then with the storm, the electric fences are down, all the guards, because I don't think that the storm was orchestrated. You can't orchestrate a storm.
Yeah, and that would never happen too, right?
Yeah.
Like where they wouldn't have backup things, and that's how you know it's all in his head. It's literally cracks.
Too convenient.
In this story, yeah, it's like
for the sake of convenience.
They would never do that.
Yeah.
They would never do that all for him, all just to show him that he's,
First of all the guards would have been ordered to go to Ward C, where all the most dangerous inmates are, in order to kind of like not allow them to escape. And then some of the staff, the non-guards, would try to get a hold of the patients at Ward A and B. But then you see nobody is inside Ward C.
Yeah.
Do you understand? No guards inside of Ward C.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that convenience? It's like when you were in school and you got like a substitute teacher, and then everybody's like, oh, like Mrs. Whatever is absent today, and then the substitute teacher like lets you do whatever because you just tell them like, hey, usually Miss Apple lets us talk for like 2 hours every day, and then the substitute teacher, depending on how gullible and whatever, like sometimes they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in this story in his head, is that he's telling all of these made up fictional characters who are substituting for himself what to do. It's like, hey, like you don't stay at Ward C.
And then it's inconsistent, because if the electrical thing went down, right, then wouldn't the I guess no, never mind, because I was gonna say, wouldn't their cells have opened?
Yeah.
And they were still in their cells.
Well, I think that back then
they didn't have electronic. Yeah, that's
it was
what
all
I
like
started
key
thinking.
The type of technology.
Yeah, that's what I started thinking, that it wasn't like electrical.
Yeah.
Which, that makes sense.
There was one scene though where the electric fence, the storm had conveniently placed like a tree trunk or a large branch on top of it. And then right below it was like a box of things kind of like becoming stairs.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, like, did an inmate carry that, put it up there right conveniently under and make all that happen?
Oh, gosh.
Or did the storm just conveniently create that exit route? You get what I'm saying? It's like
storm.
It's too perfect. Yeah. The storm of his psyche.
Head,
yeah. And then cave, the allegory of the cave, which is Plato. Basically, just real quick, is that, which is what I think this whole movie is. I always butcher this, and I always get some like angry comments of people saying like, oh, like that's not how it is, whatever. But whatever. The basic thing is that there are people in a cave who are sitting side by side, and they're kind of born side by side, and they're chained. And then they can only look forward at the wall in a cave that's opposite from the entrance. And then the shadows that are casted on this wall are casted by the puppeteers and the puppet masters behind them, who they don't know and they aren't aware of, and they use it, and they cast shadows with like little figurines onto the wall using fire. And then the allegory of the cave is that one has to uncover the truth of existence, and by doing that, they are able to unchain themselves, stand up, realize that these shadows are not the actual reality, that they're just representatives of the perfect world of form, and they're imperfect by nature because they're just the shadow of the real thing, and they're not the real thing. And then they get up and they turn around and they step over the puppet masters, or they confront them, they do whatever, and then they exit the cave. And then by one exiting the cave, just like Bruce Wayne did, all the others follow suit.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's what this is that we are witnessing the shadows on the wall, which is Shutter Island.
And then, oh my gosh.
And all of them are just puppets. All of them are just imperfect representations of maybe a perfect form in the real world. And so, real world.
That makes
We're trying
so
to say that
much.
real world.
Real world.
We are 4 hours and 13 minutes in, so no, I'm just saying that by this point it's hard to say anything.
No, into the reaction?
Yeah, into the video.
Into the full video?
Yeah, but no
I
rush
thought we
though.
were 4 hours into the review. I was like, oh my
No.
gosh, that's insane.
but yeah, so like Plato's Cave, and I'm almost done. I'm like at the end. Transorbital lobotomy, I just wrote that down. Brain surgery equals lighthouse. Again, the lighthouse he thought was going to generate him a specific enlightenment, a specific form of disclosure, but it ended up being true wisdom, which is what reality was. Or even in that sense, it was all made up, because we are agreeing that it's all made up.
Well, if that's the case, but
because in this story, he wants to be the hero.
Yeah.
He wants to die a hero, which is... this is interesting. The warden said that they've known each other for centuries. I feel like that's a little nudge for us, the audience, that the cyclical nature of existence is what it is. It's like it's death, rebirth, and then you're stuck in this cycle until you finally figure it out.
Yeah.
Until you emancipate yourself from the mental chains and mental slavery.
That makes so much, because why else would he say that?
For centuries. How? Because reincarnation, all those aspects of Eastern philosophy.
Yeah.
Is what I viewed it as. It's the cyclical cycle of samsara. Book of Job. Yeah, he loses everything, right? And yeah, it's just like reminded me of that. And then the last thing, the cherry on top, which I loved at the end, to live as a monster or die a good man, which is very similar to Joker. To Alfred. He said that some men just want to watch you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same ideas. I think it was Harvey who said that, right? Harvey Dent.
I don't
Two-Face?
remember. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but someone said that in the Batman trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, and it always stuck with me. And that's what he said at the end.
But that's interesting, right? To live as a monster or die as a good man. And then he made the choice, which we saw. He wanted to choose to die as a good man.
Which he's not a good man because he murdered his family.
Yeah.
But in this world, he is an honorable man.
But that's why, that's why in his head, the doctors are as forgiving and compassionate as they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why in his head, even though he said that screw sense of calm with these murderers, right? Like that's what he says when the doctor tells him about this new approach and stuff. But then when he meets the fake Rachel and she tells him her story, which is just about him, kind of, right? Like she says, oh, my husband was an alcoholic and he beat me and whatever else. She was literally telling him what he did to his wife, right? And she hugs him and he hugs her.
Yeah.
You know, and he kind of, you see in his face that he understands her and that he forgives her, or that he
familiar.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Felt familiar because it felt like he was hugging his wife.
But what I'm saying is that
because he was hugging the truth.
He forgives her because the story of her is that she killed her children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the story of her. But then he, like, in the beginning, he's like all about like, oh no, these people are murderers.
Yeah.
But then we see that in that moment, which was still towards the beginning of this movie, when he hugs her, that he's, and then you see in his face that he kind of, there was like an understanding of what it's like to be psychotic.
I think that he was hugging his true self.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he finally understood what it's like to be insane.
He saw it outside of himself.
Yes.
Yeah, he saw himself outside of himself in the form of his anima.
Rachel all along was himself.
Yes.
It's like it was him all along. That they just used Rachel to bring him here, just like they said. It's
and even her bipolar switch, where then she's like, "Who the fuck are you?" or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that that's his volatility when he's drinking.
Yeah, and
it's like a love-hate.
We've
it's like
seen
a roller
him
coaster.
have that, and then that's when I even said like, "Oh, I think he's gonna like snap at her," because even I felt that. Like
it's like about to freaking snap.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting because he said that he's raised by wolves. Like, that was a statement that he made, which I didn't know what to make of that, like, even towards the end.
Yeah.
I still don't know what to make of that.
He was raised by a wolf. I think I know what it is.
Go.
I think that he's a product of his environment, and then he was raised by wolves. Like, if you give yourself entirely to the system, and you don't have a good parent structure at home and a good upbringing, then you're going to be kind of at the mercy of society, which is what we see a lot of kids and adults becoming.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And so he was raised by wolves, and wolves are wolves represent governors, senators, presidents, business owners, owners of industries. Like, these are the people who raise us like cattle for their own benefit, because then we kind of like buy into their whole thing and we keep them in business. Yeah. All of them.
That actually makes sense.
And so raised by wolves is like, I was raised by wolves. It's like I was raised by a dad who was abusive, and so I learned from him. He would be my mom, and then he was also ex-military.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then him saying that he's prone to migraines, I think that it was literally like he would beat himself.
Yeah.
That he would get headaches.
Yes.
And then that's why, that's why he has these like whiteout moments.
And
where
I still didn't figure out the scar thing.
That's what I was gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Is that he would beat himself, and so the scars of like George Noyce.
Yeah.
That's the scar.
Oh gosh.
Is that he got triggered because somebody told him that he was Latest.
Yeah.
Or said the name Latest, and so maybe some guard to like taunt him said like, "Hey, Latest." Or should I say Edward?
Yeah.
And then he probably like just went into the whole spiral of like self-abuse and self-harm.
Hold on, I want to just read to see if I could get this all together.
Yeah.
When he sees his wife and he's hallucinating her, he asks, "Are you real?" And then that's when I also like started questioning. I was
Am I real?
Yeah, is any of what's happening to him real? I'm just going through because all of my notes are all over the place. But I wrote, I forgot where this quote was saying, but someone was saying about how it was like something about like making ends meet and leading a normal life. And then it was like something with the guy that tore the face off the nurse.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny and weird is that phrase, lead a normal life, it really stuck with me too.
Yeah.
Because of how it's spelled, lead a normal life.
Yeah.
Lead, it's spelled all the same, right?
Yeah.
And then lead in alchemy is lead to gold.
Yeah.
It's the transmutation process. It's the philosopher's stone, which is what happens inward. So again, don't focus on the physical.
Yeah.
Turn inward and then apply those same principles. And you realize that you take a lead base
that
metal.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
That is normal, right? Normal, like it's under the control of normacy or under the dictatorship of normacy, which is what I view it as. And then you transform it into gold and you alchemize it into purity, into enlightenment, into Christ consciousness, into nirvana, into what's the Hindu term? I forget the Hindu term, but it's like a very different word. But yeah, it's like it all kind of like Which I just found funny because like that's what
Yeah,
we say. Like, lead a normal
mm-hmm.
life. It's like, come on, lead a normal life. Like, you don't want to lead a normal life.
Then I'm trying to hold on, but it was like something about the guy that he was like interviewing, and he started like, you know, doing the thing with the notebook and stuff, and then he was like talking and then saying like I don't know, but he said something about a husband who's trying to make ends meet and lead a normal life, which he was probably referring to himself now that I think of it. But whatever, I didn't write it all fully down because I was just jotting as fast as I could.
Can I say a funny thing too?
Yeah, go.
Hold on to your butt.
Yeah, go.
Are you holding on?
Yes.
No, it's just that during that scene, they were using a notebook that's very similar to yours.
Yeah.
And you just recently, for this movie, decided to use this notebook.
Yeah.
And then for a second, I was like thinking that I was going crazy. I was like, it's just weird. It's like very similar. It was
pretty weird, yeah.
Because you decided to use this notebook, which
Today.
I got you recently.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
And I've been using my like notepad and stuff.
And I usually always use the notepad, and this I wasn't planning on using for this, but I just decided like, oh, I'll just use
and
this.
they both had a small notebook just like that. and I swear it was freaking me out for a while. I was like, what the fuck?
but then anyways, when I wrote down the lady writing run in the notebook, and that to me again just proves that this isn't happening the way that they're saying that we're playing the play or whatever. Because why would this patient tell this other patient that she knows is delusional to run? You know what I'm saying? It's because he's telling himself that, like, in his head.
Run away from everything.
But anyways, they wanted him there. Hold on.
And everybody saw her do it too.
Yeah.
Which I saw. They all saw it happening, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing. It's like
and
they
then
let it
even
happen.
Dr. Sheehan was like, "Oh, I know that she said something to you when I like walked away or whatever." It's like, you know.
Said something or like wrote something, so it's all kind of like letting him have this freedom.
Hold on.
This unrealistic freedom.
66 patients, and then there was the one missing, which we realize is him all along. It's like he is the 67th patient. And then this is what's crazy, right? This is why I'm saying that Rachel all along is a foreshadowing of himself, and this is gonna be kind of mind fucking or mind blowing, so just like stick with me.
I'm ready.
When they were investigating, right, when they first came into the mental institution, they were like, okay, so tell us about what she did and how did she get past people and whatever, right? Stick with me here. One of the things, right, he knew exactly where to find that note. As if it was his own room that he wrote to himself about the game of 4 and who is patient 67. He knew exactly where the tile was, moved the bed, found it, and opened it. And he's like, I'll hold on to this, right? And then they let him. They were like, okay, like you hold on to it or whatever. And then another thing that's interesting is that they said, oh, how many pairs of shoes do they get? 2 pairs of shoes. And her 2 pairs of shoes were there.
And it was
then
big
in
shoes, right?
No, but then also, look, yes, it was big shoes. But then also in the scene where he's preparing himself to escape, to leave on the ferry, because it was towards the end of the movie, he has 2 shoes in the room. I think I saw. But he goes and grabs his shoes that he came with. And that explains why there's no missing shoes.
Oh my God.
All along.
Oh my God.
Because he goes to grab his tie from when he was first admitted there. From when he was admitted into the mental institution. That is how he was left barefoot. He was never barefoot. He was always Rachel all along, is my point. So when they said, like, how did she leave barefoot on this terrain? She would never be able to. It's because because the same way he grabbed his clothes that he was admitted into the hospital in that tie, in those shoes, in that suit.
The same tie that
The
he
U.S.
had.
Marshal thing, attire that he was wearing.
Oh my God.
The same tie he had from the day that he killed his wife.
I don't know if it was the same.
I think it was.
Yeah. It doesn't show, but yes,
Even
it is.
if it wasn't. Even if it wasn't, though.
No. It is because when he goes into the apartment, right,
Yes.
and he hugs her from behind, he's wearing the same tie.
Yes.
So that is the day that he killed her, because when he walks in, she consciously asks him like you've been drinking again, or something about drinking, because she's holding like alcohol. She seems sane.
Yeah.
She seems sane. That's the real truth. Is that then he's hugging her in regret. And then that's why even in his figmented imagination, he still proclaims love towards her and says,
Yeah.
I love you so much, and like kills her. But then my point is, like, you're right. That is the tie that the police found him wearing after he committed the atrocious crimes.
Yeah.
And he killed all of them.
Yeah. All of them. Not that
The
the
burning
wife
apartment is what happened.
Yes, that's what I think. But
Yes.
then that's what he was admitted in.
Yes.
And so the story of Rachel is my point of, how did she leave? And both of her pairs of shoes are here. It was just foreshadowing
Right.
how he was gonna leave.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
2 pairs of shoes were there,
So crazy.
and he just got the clothes that he was admitted in,
Yeah.
and just put them back on and was gonna run and escape.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was arrested as a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah.
100%.
That's it.
One thing that I thought about now, because you're bringing up this like switcheroo thing, is did you notice how the German doctor who was first seen in that slow panning of him in that specific seat, later it's Andrew Latis in that specific seat.
Yeah.
And so in that seat is where he puts everyone that he's trying to deflect the blame onto.
Yeah, exactly.
So all of the blame goes towards the German doctor, who is
Who's just a reminder of the Nazi.
who is responsible for his
Yeah.
PTSD, his shell shock, his drinking problem, his aggression, his violence, because he's German. So the German war, you know, like he fought against the Germans, and then later puts Andrew Latis, this imagined version of who
himself,
he
yeah.
constructed this imaginary friend to put all the blame onto.
Yeah.
A scapegoat. So that's the seat of the scapegoats. The scapegoats sit in that seat. It's so crazy. And then even look, maybe this is maybe this is far-fetched after 4.5 hours. Maybe this is far-fetched, but even the architecture and the design and the elegance inside of the doctor's kind of study and like room when he first entered is what he probably witnessed when he was at war, and he would go into those generals' kind of like headquarters.
Yeah.
Because the Germans were known for like having these ostentatious, kind of very luxurious stays, and they would always choose places that were extremely luxurious.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would kind of put up pictures of like their ruler and their Führer and stuff. But I think that like even that was a small detail of like a place that he kind of like saw while he was at war, and then he crafted it as this place where they were.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like I think that might be.
No, that makes sense, because everything's a parallel. Like that's the point. Everything is just like a reimagined, recreated depiction.
And even the guards are like pseudo Nazis.
Yeah.
Because they kind of act like kind of.
Yeah, even like how when they entered, like how they had their guns
they had
up.
their like all hostile. Yeah. It's like entering into enemy territory.
Everything is just a depiction of everything that happened before he genuinely lost his mind after he cracked and.
And the movie starts with him throwing up because he's getting seasick. Again, the water, the ocean is representative of the emotions. Our inner turmoils, our emotion, our feminine side is the ocean. And so he's getting sick of his own emotions. Like he's driving himself sick.
Yeah. But then this is what's crazy, right? Hold on, I wrote so hold on. Something that they said. This is why I'm telling you that all along Rachel was just supposed to be him.
Mm-hmm.
They said, this is what they said about her, that she's beyond treatment right? Or rather that the, or not that she was beyond treatment, but that the patients in Ward C, right, were beyond treatment. They're the most dangerous people. And then what they said about her is that she's created this complete fictional reality, right? And then the interesting thing is that at the end, they tell him that he is the most dangerous
of all
of them. And so they were always talking about him all along, is my point.
Yeah.
He's beyond treatment. It's like they've tried everything. It's like he is the one that's the most dangerous because he's hurt. Just like they've told him, it's like you've hurt doctors and whatever. It's like you've hurt all kinds of people. Like, what did you do to that guard out there on the rocks? It's like, but again, with all of this happening in his head, it's that it's his guilt, like kind of reminding him. It's like, remember all the people you hurt. But in his head, it just projects itself as doctors and nurses and guards and whatever. But the reality is the people he hurt in reality, which is the people he hurt in the war and his family.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
Ultimately himself.
And ultimately, yeah. But then, hold on, I'm just gonna run through this.
Don't run, walk.
Matches and latest, I connected that like almost immediately. I was like, oh, that's so crazy. And then he offers him alcohol.
Who?
Latest. The latest
yes.
offers him alcohol, which is when I was like, I was like, wait, there's it's just too weird.
Yeah, because
it's so strange. And then he was like, "Oh no, I don't do that anymore
because I'm not you."
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's tried to dissociate himself so much, but it's just right there. It's like plain in your face. It's a mirror. You can't deny it.
You can't. Impossible.
And then when George Noyce is talking to him, and then he says that you're not investigating anything. You either kill Latest or you discover the truth. And then while this is happening, it's showing from the angle of Teddy, right? Like looking in through the bars, but it looks like he's the one behind the bars.
I caught that too, yeah.
It's like he is the one. He is the patient. It was literally telling us. It's like it was such a shot that it was like it was his face through the bars as if he's the one behind the bars.
There were so many cases like that.
Oh, gosh.
Even the part when he finds the German doctor and they're both alone, and then he's about to like get the syringe.
Yes.
He literally pins him up against the wall, but then the camera shot, and I'm sure that this director didn't like make a mistake.
No.
But the camera shot would cut from like the back of Teddy's head to like show him holding the doctor from like right here, and then it would show another camera angle where it showed that there was no wall.
Yeah.
And then because it was getting the back of the doctor's head, almost as if they were like inside of a room. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like it didn't show, like you can't get that shot if there's a wall there is my point. And then he got the shot still. And I feel like that shot was impossible.
Yeah.
And it didn't make sense to me.
But that's the whole point, I think. It
was distracting.
Yes.
Because then I started thinking to myself, like, how did they record this? Like did they do like multiple takes where like one says the line and then it cuts from like a different angle?
And that's exactly when I confirmed too that he was Latest all along. That all of this was just because why would the doctor try to pull a sedative on him, right? Like it could have gone with the story that the Rachel told him, like, oh, they want to make you insane so that they could keep you here and whatever. But it's like, how would the doctor conveniently know that he was there and have the sedative ready? And
specifically
then,
that one.
Yeah, it's like, cause it's like, that's when I knew that he was Latest. It's like when I was really piecing it, but I didn't really know until the end, obviously. But I was like, it was just irrefutable kind of, you know? But even what you're saying, it's like so many of the shots don't make sense. People disappearing, dead bodies. It's like, it doesn't make sense, but it does because like it makes sense in the sense that he's making it all up.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And then can I say like one last part that I just thought of, and before I forget, it's just when he was sleeping and then there was a leak from the storm, right? the storm was leaking inside of where he was sleeping. And so in that moment, I interpret it now, like in retrospect, that it's reality seeping into your dreams and your dreams seeping into reality. So your reality reflects your dreams and your dreams reflect your reality. So in that moment, I thought, like, it makes sense because then it's all about projection here. It's like perception is projection and projection is perception, and then reality is perception, or reality is both.
Yeah.
Because it's what you project onto reality is what you define it as. And then that's why at the end he defined himself as a good man.
Exactly.
And so it is.
Oh, God.
Because it's all mind. The universe is mental. It's all mind. The universe
It's all
is mind.
constructed,
Yeah.
And that's why she said everything is in the mind.
Mhm.
And that was the hint too.
Yes.
When Rachel was saying like pain, memories,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's all the brain.
Like, it's all the brain. The brain controls pain. It controls everything. It's like it literally is controlling this whole narrative.
Which is what we saw in the movie The Matrix.
Yeah.
Neo was inside, like he was submerged inside of a system in the Matrix. So that's the brain in a vat theory. Like if you want to search that up, I think it's VAAT. But after we watched The Matrix, like I had to dig deep into that. Because like it's literally what it is. So brain in a vat theory real quick is just when it's this idea that everything that you experience in your life and everything that you're going through right now, it's all just a product of sensory stimuli from external elements.
Yeah.
So your brain is submerged right now inside of a nutrient-rich liquid inside of literally a bottle.
And it's just being stimulated.
And it's just floating in there, and then it has a bunch of wires, and then a computer is like, all right, so now I'm going to generate this, and it's kind of like a game.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that theory, that's a real theory.
That's crazy.
So it's a brain in a vat.
But then what, like the cave Rachel was saying, right? She says that they take these patients, right? And their goal is to recreate a man, take away his memories, and then send them out to do things that sane men would never do. This is all this narrative that he's painting for himself to kind of like to kind of like dismiss the things that he's done to himself.
Victimize
so
himself.
It's like think about this. She said that the doctors are taking away the patient's memories, right? To recreate them into a new man, right? And then to send them out to do things that sane men would never do.
Do you think that that's analogous for war? Because isn't that what war is?
Right, but then my point is like, this is what he did. He took his own memories away. He recreated a fake man, right?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And then he sent him out to do things that sane men would never do.
God. You keep like scratching parts of my brain.
I don't know if this makes sense.
Of course it makes sense.
But
yes,
it was,
that's exactly what it is.
That is what he did, and that's why I'm telling you that Rachel is fake for sure, and everything's fake.
Yeah.
But she's fake for sure because she's just telling him exactly what he's doing, not what the doctors were doing. It's like, you are doing this. You took your own memories away. You created this fake man, and then you're doing things that a sane man would never do.
Which he did twice, because he did that during the war.
Yes.
And he did that when he killed his family.
And now he's doing it to like a fuller extent with this whole thing even. It's
and
like
when he killed his family too. Like he did something that a sane man would never do, which is kill your family.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this cave Rachel, my conclusion now is that she's like a spirit guide. Like she's just guiding
trying
him.
to wake him up.
She's like a psychopomp. Like she's like Athena. Like she's wisdom, you know?
And then
it's crazy. Ooh, that's insanity actually. Literally. Oh my God.
And then it says that the correlation between like insanity and trauma, and how trauma influences like or rather that they were going to use trauma as an excuse to deem someone insane.
To
So it's
justify
like
insanity.
that's why she says, why do you think they use words like defense mechanism, and they gave you pills, and they're the ones that control the fairy, and you don't have any friends, and then it was like just all these like hints, right? But even when she was saying that, and she was still saying it as if it was the doctors that were in the wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's all still him. Like it's all like it's like you have no friends. It's like everything that she's saying isn't about the doctors. It's about him, and that's the whole point. It's like you control the fairy. The fairy is the thing that's going on in his head. And then it's like you have no friends. It's like none of this like it's not in the literal sense. It's just that like you know what I mean? It's like it's all mental.
You control the fairy is probably the deepest aspect of all of this.
Yeah, it's like
there is no fairy because you are responsible. Like he's responsible for there being a storm.
Yeah.
He's responsible for there being a fairy a way out.
But she was saying it like they. So everything that she was saying about the doctors was really for him. It's like they is you because you are they.
Can I just share this one quote which I've heard somewhere? It's if you want to conquer the island, you must burn the boats. So if you want to conquer an island, you must first burn the boat. And I feel like that's how it opened up.
That's pretty interesting.
So he wants to conquer himself, conquer the mind, and that's what you have to go through. It's like you have to go through this whole journey, but he just you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He eventually conquered the island, but even the island itself is just a figment of his own imagination, of his own will. Because like he willed it into existence. And so is he conquering anything? No, because he's avoiding conquering the real island, because the real island is much different than this ideal, just like we've talked about how a lot of things are very convenient. And so it's a convenient place.
And
it's
even
a convenient paradise.
Even then, he wasn't conquering the island because the fairy was still always an escape plan.
Yeah.
It's like, look, this is what the fairy symbolizes, right? The fairy is that you leave this island. You leave this island, and that's when you completely abort everything that he's created. But he refuses. That's how stubborn. That's how so much far into the abyss he is that he still wants to go to the lighthouse.
Oh my God.
But going on the ferry is the metaphor for leaving this island.
It is the metaphor
leaving
for
this
enlightenment.
island. It's like that was the actual choice.
That was enlightenment.
That was the choice that should have been made. It's take the ferry, abort this island, and leave this island.
Which is why the bald doctor kept saying, so now you've found out Rachel, so it's time for you to leave.
Yes.
The bald doctor wanted him to leave.
I know.
It was pushing him like, dude, just leave.
And even the other doctor was like, oh, the fairies aren't this way. And he was going to guide him, but then he still insisted, like, you know, and then went up against him. It's like,
that's so crazy.
But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's like, that would make
right.
sense. It's like the ferry is the real escape. It's like, that's what he should have done. He should have gotten on the ferry and he should have, you know.
And not gone towards the lighthouse. Yeah.
Anyways.
Ooh.
Then that's my point. Is like back to the whole thing that I said that he is Rachel foreshadowed all along, is that he even slips past the black nurse guy that was like, you know, like nonchalantly not looking, which is the story of Rachel. That was the story of Rachel. They were like, how did she slip past you?
Yes.
It was all foreshadowed.
Yes, he
everything
did that
we
the whole
heard.
time.
Yes, everything that we learned about Rachel is what we would then discover to be what was Lattice's story.
He was what do you call it when you damn it, like I haven't been in the whole business realm in so long. When you empower someone else to do the work, the task for you. Oh man, there's like a specific word that I wanted to use to like sound good so that it would sound nice. But anyways, like he freaking name, man.
Enabled? No.
Sure, like he just basically casted all of the blame onto Rachel, which is what we
Right.
already talked about. But in that sense, it's like she is the walking embodiment of that, which is what.
Yeah.
Comment below what the word is. You guys know exactly what I'm trying to say.
But then, anyways, to live as a, and then whatever. That's all my notes. Cause then I just write the wounds create monsters, which we talked about. I talked about his guilt, to live as a monster or to die as a good man. But then something that I want to point out too is that, wait, where did I have it?
I didn't even know that this pen was made in Japan. That's crazy.
I guess like the idea of because I saw like the title, right, like Shutter Island, and it's all taking place on an island, and then I thought about, which I know this isn't where the quote stems from, but it's in a song that I really like by Ben Howard, where he says, "No man is an island," but it's a reference to a quote said by someone else, obviously,
Yes.
like a
That's a
very
famous
famous quote. But he says, "No man is an island."
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that quote.
And then if you think about that quote, right? I'm trying to figure out how exactly I would piece this, but it's that we see that no matter how far you try to escape or isolate, right? Because that's what he tries to do. He tries to escape and isolate isolate himself from these memories, from these like things that he
Is avoiding.
yeah, that he's avoiding and that he's guilty of and that he's whatever. But then how do I explain? Oh gosh, I had like it better. It's in my head. But it's just that you can't deny the like interconnectedness of everything is my point. So then it's like, wait, I'll have to like, do you have anything else to say while I maybe get my thoughts together?
Just like
Because I have to write this down to like piece it together.
just catapulting off of what you just said, I could say that this movie proves that every man is the island and the man and everybody on the island. And everybody on the island, because that's what Andrew latest showed, is that he is the island, he is everybody on the island, and he is also himself, because everything is connected and we are all one and we are all fragments, the Manderbolt fragmentation of the divine, and the divine is one.
Right, but then no man is so that makes sense, right? That's exactly my point. Like, you can't deny that everything's like all interconnected. So yes, it's all the island. It's all this one island. Like, everyone is this island or whatever. But in the sense of like, no man is an island. Like, no man is singular or isolated, right? And so even though this whole story is about a personal journey of Ladis, right? It's still like deeply connected with like everything else. Everything, like
I know exactly
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All of the experiences that he's undergone, all of the relationships, so him in the war, him and his family. So no man is an island. Everything is connected, you know?
And in Ladis, you can find every person on the planet.
Yes, exactly.
Because Ladis, oh my God. You don't understand what you just said.
I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Because what she's proposing, very casual, like very nonchalantly, is she's saying that Andrew Ladis is literally the representation of the collective unconscious. Because every patient in there is a version of a human that exists on the planet. And then Ladis is literally creating, through his own experience, through himself alone, he creates a universe of his own making. And within that universe, he has fragments, deep recesses of his unresolved psyche that are made manifest and personified and given a face and given a name and given a role.
Yes.
And then that's what people say God is. It's like God is literally the universe, right? The all created all of this, and we are all just fragments of God experiencing itself in the human form.
Yeah. And then this,
Crazy.
to go with that, right? you can't isolate yourself from your memories, right? It's like that's what this whole movie is about. He tried to isolate himself through this Edward Teddy character from his memories. You can't do that. It's impossible. It's shown to be impossible in this sense, right? And not only that, but it just leads to your like you just suffering more.
Yes.
And then as a result, you are just like doing an injustice to human nature. Does that make sense?
Yes, because
like,
resistance equals suffering.
Yes.
And when you embrace the oneness of all, and you embrace the fact that you are Anthony Lattis, that you are Andrew Lattis, and that you are everyone, and that like that's why empathy is a doorway towards enlightenment, because you have to empathize.
Yes, and then look,
with everyone.
The suffering of one affects the all, right?
Yes.
Like essentially that's what this like movie kind of shows too. It's like the suffering of this one character, which is obviously all like within himself, but it affects it affects everything. It affects everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it goes to
yes, it is.
Like my words are all over because it's late and I can't really think straight.
Guys, it makes perfect sense to me. So comment below if you guys also give, because I think it's literally what it is. Is like the island also represents the collective unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all that I have. It's that.
Take your time.
That's all. I'll have to like get my thoughts on that straight more. But I guess I wanted to connect it more seamlessly, and then it's just. But you did
We could try to work through it if you want. Like, I got time.
No, I can't. No, like my brain is so fried.
Guys,
I can't do it.
It is literally. Look, I'm gonna show you guys. It's 12:20. Well, you guys can't really see because it's just the timer that we used to reset the camera. It is 12:12 a.m.
Yeah.
We have been at it for 5 hours. Like no
big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Me too.
I think that this was one of
my favorites, I think.
This is the most enlightening experience I feel like I've had in a long time. And I'm happy to have shared it with you and have had it together. So thank you for that. And and I'm happy to have shared it with you guys too.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. Please comment below because I see all of the comments that say deep end. I see all the comments. I just can't get to every single one.
It's crazy.
Comment below deep end if you got to this point.
Like you
I'm gonna
have
go to
no
your
idea
house,
how crazy that is.
and I'm gonna give you a medal. Okay, like I'm gonna go to your house and thank you personally. Because if you got to the deep end, then thank you.
Because listen, I've tried hearing myself back and I absolutely cannot do it.
Yeah.
And so if you sat here and you sat
through this craziness,
my like incoherent sentences and my incoherent no, mine is way worse. It's like I struggle so hard because I feel like I have the thought perfectly constructed in my head, but I have such a hard time like delivering it through words. And I feel like that's just like me needing to like strengthen my speech and stuff. And I think just like really make my thoughts more cohesive in terms of sentences. Because I feel like I have it cohesive in terms of like ideas.
Yeah.
But I don't have it like a cohesive kind of like sentence to share outwardly.
But if you go back to our first reaction video and then compare it to now, like your evolution has been insane, which you guys can kind of back me up on this because it's true. And so if you realize how far you've come versus how far you need to still go, I think that that's better because then it'll give you the confidence you need maybe even to just like do it all even better because like that's all it is. It's just having that like thought and then being able to confidently just spew it out. Because I confidently spew out nonsense all the time. Like I confidently like.
It's not nonsense.
It is. But like a lot of times it's just nonsense. But like that's the joy of it too. Is that's why I always look at you guys and I always say like I don't know if that makes sense or if it's complete nonsense. So just plug your ears and la 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 through this part. But then guess what? I'm not gonna edit it out. I'm gonna leave it in.
Yeah.
Because like maybe one person out there is like, oh shit, he said something that I've thought of.
Yeah.
And like, wow, I thought I was alone. High five to you, sir, ma'am, whatever, you know. And we have to reset the camera in a bit, but we're gonna decide to just call it here because it's. again, 5 hours in, and it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we still have to eat.
Yeah.
Too. Like, I ate waffles, and what else did I eat today?
I
Jimmy Dean's,
Oh
right?
yeah, we had a Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich.
Frozen breakfast croissant, which tastes amazing.
I had that and a garlic toast today. That's it.
I had that into like 2 small little chocolate waffles. So with that being said, guys, do you have anything else to say?
No, I have to
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for sticking through with us. If you made it up until here, you already know what to do. Comment deep end. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with a friend, turn on your notification bell. Makes all of this effort worth it. Even though for me it's already worth it right now, which is what I'm expressing. Like, it's fun, and whether the videos get 100 views or not doesn't matter. But it makes it even more worth it for sure, because then I'm like, oh shit, there's like an audience and people actually want to like be a part of this. Great. With that being said, thank you so much, and don't forget that it's never wrong
To be mentally gone. Peace to the world.